Yespixel episode 8 with our guest, Fiendota.
That's me.
Hi, Fiend.
Whoa, hey, that was
Whoa.
cinematic as fuck.
Where did he come
dude.
from?
Today's sponsor can be told to you by 52 Chains. Who do we got today, 52?
Today's sponsor is Captain Saverhole. It's can I use profanity in there?
If it's in the ad read,
it's-
go for it.
Yeah, it's a sponsor protecting endangered species in the spirit of our guest here today, Mr. Boobalicious.
What?
As a sponsor.
Okay.
Did you say save a hoe?
Save a hoe.
Yeah, Captain.
Captain Save a Ho.
Captain
Captain
Save.
Thank you. Hey,
Save a
I just wanted to
Ho.
say thank you, Captain Save a Ho. Actually, is working with me to hook me up with more gingers so that we can like make sure the population don't go out. We're only 2% of the population, so thank you,
I
Captain
didn't
Save
think
a
we
Ho.
were running out
Appreciate
of
you.
hoes. I thought we saw a lot of hoes. I didn't know we were running out. I didn't think that was. But apparently they need to be saved. Save a hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my.
How's it going, Fiendota?
Fiend.
It's good. It's good. You know, it's a nice Saturday morning. Can't complain. You know,
Is that what it
working a
is?
full-time job. Yep. It's Saturday morning. You know.
Oof. Oh man.
Tell us about who you play on NoPixel.
I
Who are
play,
you?
Yeah.
I play a couple characters. I've been playing Booba the Caveman, aka Booba the LSPD Senior Officer, aka Booba the Federal Agent in the FIB.
AKA Booga Ooga, AKA Fierce Strong Rock,
Yeah,
AKA
yeah,
25,000-year-old caveman and fiance of Moosebeard.
That's him.
I actually
the
only
guy.
learned like a couple weeks ago that his actual name was Ooga Booga.
Well, it's Booga Ooga.
Booga Ooga. Right.
But
When you read
if
it
you
on
want
the
to talk
ID,
about that, yeah, if you want to get into that real fast, there was an Ooga Booga.
Yes, we
He
do.
was perma'd on Great Ocean Highway by a motorcycle going 120 miles an hour. And right after that, I created Booga Ooga.
nice. Did
Wait,
you
hold
also
on,
play
to-
Ooga Booga?
I did.
What made Ooga Booga stick and not Ooga Booga?
You mean Booga Ooga stick?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. It's
Well,
confusing.
Wooga
So technically
Wooga
still
Mega
alive,
Booga
really.
Ooga
Well-
Stooga.
I think
Well,
being
they're both
alive
perma
helps a
characters.
lot.
The first one perma'd
Mm-hmm.
because it was a perma character, and the second one I got a lot of traction with Ash's community, as most lovable characters do. Someone gifted me 50 subs, not to perma,
Nice.
and that was a lot for me at the time.
At the time, yeah. I mean, even now, that's a lot of.
Yeah,
that's a
no,
lot
it
of
is.
dollar these days.
That's a big amount of gift.
100 plus buckaroos.
Yeah, it kind of just, I mean, it was a perma character. It started out as a character that was supposed to die, rather fast, not speak any English, pretty much not know anything, unfrozen caveman, and then morphed into what it is today.
That was. I remember the first time I ever saw him in Burger Shot.
Dude, okay, so the funny, I don't know if I'll be able to find the clip, but the first time Booba ever ran into Kyle Pred was at the Burger Shot at Dean World, and it was when the bug with like stuff that you would touch would stick to your hands was going around. So like you would eat food and then the
burgers would stick to your
icon would,
hands.
yep. So I had like 6 fries, I had like 3 burgers and drinks all stuck to my hands. I'm a shirtless guy at a fast food restaurant. Kyle Brett walks up. He's like, "Hey, you think it's a little unclean to not wear a shirt while working?" And this guy just says, "Booba," and then he's like, "All right, I'm gonna get food somewhere else," and just touches his chest with a bunch of food in his hands. Yeah, it was
That's so
a
good,
very good bit. That was a long time ago.
Oh, that's great.
Well, who else do you play? 'Cause I think everybody knows you as the lovable Booga Ooga, but I know you got a couple other characters that are on the.
Yeah, so I also play Dick Dastardly. I love that character so much, and actually, I would probably like choose to play him more than I do Booba. But yeah, he's kind of just like designed to take L's. I don't, I wanted to get him to a point where like I could actually do like bigger crimes. Like I wanted to go to bank robberies and not wear masks and stuff and just get warrants for free and things like that.
That
But
sounds familiar.
okay, well, maybe it does, but and when I was creating that character, I was thinking of a lot of different ways because I wanted to play an unorthodox criminal. I wanted to play someone who could get to a point where they were like robbing banks and stuff, but also not have the same kind of like chasing the money type of criminal.
Like doing it
I
for
thought
the
of
event
making-
of robbing the bank rather than
Exactly. Yeah. Like you know, like I wanted to create a character that could really like, you know, like stall the police. Like, oh yeah, we're robbing this bank. We got to like create a reason why the police are not, you know, just gonna breach and things like that. But I was gonna create like not like a cyborg, an android that like basically could only tell the truth. So if like the cops asked who was robbing the bank, he literally would just tell the cops every single person inside. And then I kind of morphed that into Dick Dastardly, a cartoon villain who kind of like is like brutally honest with everyone he comes across.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought.
I think I've only ever seen Dick once, or maybe twice in character. I think it's on Moose Spirit as well.
Yeah, there was the one time where we robbed Bay City. And there was the fist fight out front and all the Littlemans, and it was you, me, two Littlemans, or who was the other? There was one more person with us. Was it Pedro?
Sounds like
Pedro might have been the hostage.
Like Pedro business.
Did you kidnap Moose Beard one time with Kirk and pull on my balls?
No, I don't think so. I did do some stuff with like the stable on Dick, but no, I don't think I ever did that.
Oh, okay. 'Cause Kirk Jerkins kidnapped me a long time ago and tugged on one of my balls.
Okay.
It was me and I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, that sounds like Mr. Theo.
Yeah, we had our balls tugged on.
Sometimes you gotta get your balls tugged. Give your balls a tug, tech fucker.
He was really good about it. All right, Fiend. So now we know some of the characters that
and Pat Starr. I can't forget about Pat Starr. I literally terrorized Burger Shot for like 14 hours straight, literally just going over and over asking for Krabby Patties. Can I get a Krabby Patty?
Oh, no.
Did you walk around in T2? So you just walk around like this?
No, I didn't. But
wide stance
that character that day, I was killing myself because it wasn't that enjoyable for me either. Like I was actually like at the end of the stream, I was like this. I'm like literally like dying.
Tired.
Like, my voice is gone.
I got a Krabby Patty.
And I had so many people like take Pat Starr and just dump him in the ocean, and then I would literally just respawn and go straight back to Burger Shot. One of the best interactions I had on that character was Mel basically tell Pat Burger Shot hired Mel to kidnap me and kill me. And then he basically, instead of doing that, he gave Pat a knife and told him that it was a way for him to get Krabby Patties. So he went back and stabbed Ash in the chest with a knife. And then Benji pulls out a class 2 and he's like, I did it. And then he starts gunning Pat Star down and he's like, you told him to do that?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that was a really fun character. And my chat really wants me to play that character again, but it
destroys the voice.
It's hard because of how Burger Shot's changed. It's not the same anymore.
Well, I mean, it's not
You've
even
changed
open
Burger
anymore,
Shot.
so.
You hear that?
Yeah.
How long have you been on the server?
Wait, I think Chains might have had something to add on that.
Oh no! I was just gonna ask you. There might be an opening for that character when the mall opens over by Vespucci Beach.
There's a mall in Vespucci opening?
I don't know about this.
Oh,
yeah, I think so. Right, mall or something
Strip
else.
mall.
A lot of strip mall. That's it.
Yeah. No, I would. I mean, I'd play that character.
Right by the beach would be sick.
Yeah, I've been on
chain stores.
NoPixel.
The guy who does like all the development for like
Gabs, you
clothing
mean?
stores and stuff. Yeah.
You're talking about like the shop fronts. I don't know if that's gonna get added because Gabs is still doing stuff, but he's not doing it just for NoPixel.
Yeah.
No. So I don't know if that's gonna get added, especially since there's like storefront stuff now.
Yeah, true. It might.
It would kind of like conflict.
Oh
with
yeah,
that.
sorry, I saw the trailer. It's like fully customizable.
Yeah.
But you were answering
but-
how long you been on NoPixel?
Yeah. I've been on NoPixel. Let me see. I might actually have to find my when I got accepted from the NoPixel bot, if I can even find that.
You don't have like an estimated amount of time?
Oh wait. I think I found it. I don't know. I didn't find it. I don't actually know. I've been on NoPixel for. I think I joined a couple months after the start of 3.0.
Okay.
So I think April. I think April was my first month. No, because I think March. Yeah, March. It was March. I started in March, and I had my character that I created was Magnum PI, basically. That was
Okay.
my that
Sure.
was my first character. And I really didn't really have any expectations of that character going anywhere. I actually initially had the character designed to be like an actor who thought he was like playing a role. So he'd get like kidnapped by gangs, and they'd be like trying to get information out of him, and then like he thinks he's like playing a part in a movie, like he thinks he's being recorded. And
Right.
then like he gets shot, and then he just starts freaking out, like he realizes how real it is. Um and then I kind of it never really ended up coming around to make sense of doing that. Ended up someone anonymously called him and told him about someone making meth in Sandy. Um, and this was back, and I didn't know all the stuff that was going on with meth with Doug Buck and all that.
Yep.
So I go up north. I'm like looking around. I see cars leave the area he was talking about. It was the meth lab in
Under the barn, right?
Yeah, under the barn in the whatever the loop is near Stab City. And I ended up. He also told me about an RV. So I go to the apartments, and the nerds are there. And at the time, they were the ones
With the RV.
literally cooking it. I literally go up to them as they pull an RV out, and I say, "Hey, you guys know anything about meth?"
Oh no.
I literally go up to them and ask them that. I mean, I didn't directly ask them that, but I was very like they knew exactly what I was asking. So they call I don't remember who they called, but ended up getting picked up by Pegasus, Harry and Vasily or V.
Shit.
And they take me out on a boat in the middle of the ocean. They start asking me questions. I told them this person called me, and they said, "Well, you have no way of getting in touch with him." I'm like, he told me to type this on Twitter if I needed to get a hold of him. So I did it. Like a couple minutes goes by, and they're like, "It's not looking too good for you." And then I get a call, and he calls me.
Oh, shit.
I make up some stuff to and then they're like, I think it was Buddha who was calling the shots at the time, and I was like pleading for my life as much as I could because I didn't want to die. I was role playing, valuing my life, things
Weird,
like that.
I get it.
I think I ended up getting shot, and my character was I didn't perma the character. Hindsight, I probably should have perma the character because I never play it anymore. But I
Just
think
be dead.
that say again.
Just be dead.
Yeah. Hindsight, I think that Buddha thought that I was metagaming, and just like didn't want to like leave any room for that to be a possibility. So it's like there's no way to swing it, just kill him, make him forget.
Got caught in the chain of metagaming is the thing.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
metagamed calling you to tell him.
Right.
Somebody was using you as like a metagame bludgeon tool.
Yeah. so
Like a disjoint from the main source. But
Yeah.
I was pleading so hard, and it was really cool. It ended up jumping me from 200 followers to 2,000.
Yo.
And that was like my first that was my 4th day on NoPixel.
Damn.
Literally my 4th day. I went from
See, kids, metagaming gets you views.
I literally went from streaming Dota for 5 years for like 3 viewers to like over 2,000 followers, and like at one point I think during that stream I had like 1,000 viewers.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was a crazy first like real experience in NoPixel.
So you've had kind of a wild ride with that, from all that to Booba to now Booba, kind of really like in the FIB. How did that all get started? How'd you go from playing a goofball Booba with burgers on his hands, who can't speak English, to being in the FIB?
Oh
Tell us about that.
We're gonna have to spend an hour because this man has some of the single greatest character progression on the server.
It's wild.
I'll say it time and time again.
What were you saying, 52?
I was just about to say what Trump said. Yeah, like I don't think anyone's had that much character progression ever on.
And like
server.
natural
From
progression, like
bumbling
not forced
fool-
at all.
Yeah, from a bumbling fool to fucking federal agent. God.
Yeah, no, it has been a lot of fun. It really started out as I had no real expectations. Like I said, it was a perma character. I had no real desires for the character to go farther than a day or something like that. because I was just trying new things out. Because like Dick Dastardly was kind of like not going anywhere for me. You know, like obviously like the goal of most people streaming on NoPixel is to get viewers. You know, like not that that's a bad goal or anything, but it is the reason. It's the reason you stream. I mean, no one would stream if they were just there to obviously there for good role play, but Dick Dastardly was kind of like like pretty I was tired of grinding money. That's what it was. All I did on Dick Dastardly was run Oxy, and I had a good time with it. Like like I would always have like a real good time with the cops. I think getting arrested is the best part about being a criminal on NoPixel.
The criminals would disagree.
But yeah, so I started running Oxy. I created perma characters. One stuck. I started out with not speaking English, not knowing a word of English, not having a bank account, not having an apartment, not having a citizenship means I didn't have an ID. I never spent any money for 3 months. Like I literally like, and I think there's a serious lack of like helping with that type of RP in NoPixel. Like I would get taken hostage so much on Booba, because I literally would just be running around like my entire time on NoPixel. I'd be going to Rooster's Rest, to Burger Shot, to the apartments, to the courthouse, like just trying to find people to interact with.
Yeah.
And I would constantly being taken hostage, and the hostage experiences were always amazing. But like I would have like they would leave, and then the cops would be like, "Oh, I need your ID," and my character, most of the time when that got asked, I had a decent, like, okay understanding of English on the character. And my character would just say, no ID or something like that. And the cops didn't know what to make sense of it. They just like, what do you mean? Show me your ID. And, it like just didn't really like work out too well. But yeah, then
saying what you just said, my character had a good grasp of English at this point. Just shows like the progression of this character's made. You literally could not even speak English.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this, I
did you have a list of like words that he knew initially, or did you just kind of like just remember?
It was more so remember, and it kind of just like adapted with time. And I literally would say, "What word mean?" like all the time.
Nice.
Like when I got to a point where I could actually like convey a message over on the character, I literally would say that so much, because like if my character never heard the word, I didn't know the word.
I remember Stanky like taught Booba the word penis.
Yeah, there's so many people like that. Like I remember like Kate, aka Nancy Drew, says all the time to everyone that she taught Booba his first word was friend. And that's true. It's like
friend.
The character was entirely roleplay. Every single thing that the character did was inside of NoPixel and learned through people and roleplay, which I wish I could go back. I mean, I'm happy at where we're at, but like it was so fun.
It was a different time.
Like a different time. But yeah, so then I got to the point where I was like kind of like working at Burger Shot, and the language started getting a lot better. And then the first time I met McConnell, aka Bench Guy, was outside MRPD, and I was rolling around in a wheelchair, and Booba would always just if he would find a wheelchair, he'd get in it no matter what. Didn't matter if he was injured or anything. Like I remember the Man Dim, before it was even the Man Dim, I think. They were just like a group of people that were hanging out. I remember trying to go up a cliff or like a hill on a wheelchair, and they like got behind me in their car and like pushed me up in the wheelchair. But the first time I met McConnell outside MRPD, Booba like goes up to him and is like, "What do?" Like, cause he's just standing there. He's waiting for his next ride along, and he kept like pushing Booba away in the wheelchair, and I would just go straight back to him and just sit by him, and then eventually he pulls me into this alleyway and puts me up against a door and like pulls his gun out, and he's aiming at the back of my head. He doesn't pull the trigger, but so you could tell like he's like wanted to do it. It'd be funny. And then eventually he said, "Oh yeah, there's a surprise at the top of Mount Chiliad. If you go there, you'll get it." And my character, of course, because my character would literally, super gullible, would do anything that people say, I went to the top of Mount Chiliad.
Oh my god.
And the best part about it was Chips in a 24/7 van found me on my way up Los Santos Freeway in a
Let's go.
wheelchair.
Is this Chips Ahoy?
Yep.
Nice.
And he got me in the back of it and drove me all the way up, or as far as he could go in the 24/7 van in Mount Chiliad. And then I ran all the way up, and there was nothing on top of Mount Chiliad. And then I went all the way back, and he wasn't there. But then from that point in time, I pretty much made it Booba's mission to find him again. Because Booba had always had an easy time making friends with people. That was kind of like the whole point of the character, was everyone was his friend. But this guy, this orange hair guy with a badge that said FIB on it, and of course Booba didn't even know that that's what it was. He just knew the symbols. He found the FIB building, and that's pretty much the end of the start of the beginning. You know, I waited in the lobby. I annoyed the crap out of McConnell until he basically hired him as security. And then yeah, that's where we are. And then I remember there were so many good moments at the FIB building. The best memory I have of all of Booba's time is literally learning the alphabet at the FIB building with
McConnell,
with Posey, Bench Guy, and Tandy.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's who came in. I remember that.
Tandy was like, I've told Walnut, and I'm so happy where he's at now. I've literally told him for like a year that he's like the funniest person on NoPixel, and that eventually, if he just kept trying, he'll eventually, get there, and he did. It's very proud of him. But that moment, like learning the alphabet, I literally learned the alphabet from start to finish on that character in roleplay, and it's just such a good memory I have.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the funniest people.
I'm Candy.
Wow.
So, learn about your characters. Which one did you apply with?
Magnum PI. That was my.
Which
that was my.
This is something that we've asked every single guest that's come on the show so far. Very personal question. How many applications did it take you?
3. We got a middle of the road, huh?
Yep.
We're all 3 with Magnum PI.
Yep. Yeah, I never changed my idea.
Mm-hmm. Just refined.
Although I will admit, adding the bit in that I ended up not even doing about being like an actor playing a role. That was, I think, what sealed my the success of me getting in.
It was interesting, right? I mean, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for interesting stuff, like.
Yeah. But yeah, I ended up not even doing it because it got to a point where it's like I got all these thousands of viewers in my stream. I got a gun to my head, talking about meth, and it's like, well, geez.
That's great.
Yeah.
So far, you're kind of right in the center with people. We've had not too many people got in on their first.
Less than 5% of applicants.
Some people,
that's these two bragging here. Okay.
Some people who got in after their 5th.
After their 5th.
After their 5th.
Next
Some of our past guests, yeah.
I'm
So you're saying that he failed all of them, or he got in on the last one?
He failed every single one, and then ended up getting put on whitelists from his time on public.
Yeah.
Ah.
He earned it.
Earned it.
Hey, well, I mean, hey, that's a good way to get it.
Speaking of Nick Serra, is he actually doing that? I don't know if you were there for this, but he had like a quitting arc the other day. And like everybody in PBSO came together and we're like, "You're joining PBSO."
Oh my God, you serpents!
Talk
no,
to
he's
Pred,
not.
Pred
He's not.
okayed it. Talk to PNT. They okayed it.
He's serial poachers over here. No, he's fine. He's staying with the LSPD.
No.
He's okay.
No. No. Down.
Yeah, there's I have enjoyed my time role playing cop on NoPixel, and I'm kind of
going for that for a long time too.
Yeah, I was, and I think there's a lot of good and a lot of bad, and obviously I guess we can kind of get into FIB lately. Obviously, after a year of me trying to make it happen.
What was FIB like in the beginning? In the
stuff.
beginning, it was just a badge, right? And you just basically, because of who McConnell was, people in RP sort of allowed it to exist.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to go like way back, it was just I think it was. I don't know if it was forced lore, but I think it was S-Fan just saying it about McConnell or
Like, he's
Benska.
FIB.
Exactly. I think it was. I think it was kind of forced lore.
I love it.
But I mean, that was like the ultra beginning, and then I mean, I can only speak to my experience about it, but then you know, McConnell was running around, FIB,
FIB.
and then kind of realized that he could probably make something of it if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Brought in Kiwo, who's, I mean, probably like one of the most well-known, recognized, good role players, who also puts a lot of work into anything she does. Might I add, like she getting to know Kiwo and like, you know, talking out of character and things like that. She puts so much effort into everything she does.
Yeah, there's a reason like she like sometimes she'll like take a long break too, right? Because she puts so much into it that she needs to.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of all or nothing. I've noticed with her, and it's same with myself. It's like you're either gonna put all your effort into something, or you should just not do it at all.
Yeah, I think people say like balance is good, but what do I know?
Yeah, balance is hard. That's a hard thing to find, my friend. But yeah, so he brought Kiwo in. Kiwo was kind of like the start of making it official, like getting things down on paper, trying to make it an actual like
organization,
department, law enforcement type thing.
Does she end up writing like SOPs or anything, or?
Yeah, we had actually. That's the funny thing is she wrote SOPs. She wrote all the SOPs for FIB and had pretty much everything down to like a T, and you know it was being explored with the PD, and then without saying names. Because I'm not saying names. I'm sorry. I actually won't because I don't want to ruin what I have going right now. Some people said some stuff about her and something that she did, which from some point of views were lies and not true or factual at all.
Okay.
Just to stop the roleplay.
Whoa. Wait. So without telling us exactly, like, what kind of things were they? What was it about that they were saying? Were they saying that she was like metagaming, or like what was it?
More so, I would say acting out of the best interest of like the PD as a whole. So doing things that would not really like. Okay, so I'll just say what it was. Someone said that she went on a scene and said, "This is our jurisdiction."
Like with FIB.
Yeah,
that's cool as shit.
That's cool.
It's cool.
That's cool roleplay.
That's just a fancy way of saying I'll take scene lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that was, at least from what I've been told, was not factual, and didn't really actually happen, and was just said to shut down the roleplay.
Okay.
To create a problem out of nothing and to get things shut down.
So somebody didn't like it and said some shit, or there was a misunderstanding. One of the two.
Or there was a misunderstanding, which is entirely possible. But to go as hard on as what they've said about it.
So was this somebody that like had control of things? Was somebody in power, or was this? Oh, okay, all right. So there was some headbutting happening, regardless of the factualness of it. There was headbutting happening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
I can see how that can happen.
So that pretty much shut things down entirely.
For how long?
Oh, let's think. When did she leave?
It was a while. She was gone.
I think it was in December.
Okay.
I think it was in December, and from that point on, I pretty much had not the mindset of, but trying to get in the PD, because I knew it kind of had gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm never going to be able to get to be an agent if I don't get LEO training, and that was my overall goal. And I think it was Jay's goal on Posey as well, was to become an agent eventually, but it doesn't really happen. I had talked to McConnell a little about it, and he's like, he connected me with someone from Public to get me hired over there, and I had definitely considered that as an option, but I kept thinking about it, and this is kind of goes back to the entirety of Booba trying to be a police officer. Was I had a lot of different options, like go to Public PD, and I thought, well, my goal is to create this character and to continue him and build him up and continue the progression of his story. And going to another server
Doesn't
doesn't
make
really
sense,
progress the story of this character that I'm working on. So I kind of like I connected with the person and I had like it set up and I like just kind of like chickened out at the end. So I kept, you know, doing security for FIB. I started getting ride-alongs with people like Moosebeard, who kind of like definitely helped me get to the point where I needed to be. Um, you know, all Booba really wanted, and this is like his character like backing and why he's doing what he's doing, is to make Bench Guy proud.
Mm-hmm.
Like the second he met Bench Guy, it was first to be friends with Bench Guy, and then once he figured out who Bench Guy was, now it's just to make Bench Guy proud, and that kind of morphed, and we can, I mean, I'll get more into down the line, but it's morphed into bringing people that he cared about back to the city. But I started getting ride-alongs, and then I started talking to people like Bass. I started talking to people like Bundy, Ripley, and trying to get, my references for my application, which I'm going to be completely honest, I don't even think my application got read.
They were just like, yeah, just come
do
on.
any of them?
Yeah, I think they literally just see the name, and if they know the character, they're either yes or no. That's it.
I think you're 100% right.
So my application references were Bundy, Ripley, Tessa. Booba had a very good relationship with all three of those people, except Bundy at the time, but like Bundy was real supportive. Bundy is the only reason that Booba, I think, became a cop. I would give some credit to Kyle as well, though, because when I started getting to the point where they were even consider hiring me, it was, oh, he's not going to be able to do comms. He's not going to be able to do comms. Like, he's got this speech impediment. It's not going to work. It's not going to work out.
I remember this when the character almost changed for good.
Isn't that kind of like saying, like, I don't trust this person to roleplay well enough to make this work?
Exactly. No, it is. And it was also, I was trying to be true to my character as much as I was, but I wanted to join the PD. I got to a point where my character was stagnant and I had nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. And I kept talking. I kept pleading with freaking Bass. I even talked to Sab out of character in a Discord call. I messaged him and I'm like, and this was actually after he gave me the option. So Posey and Booba had an interview. Booba did really good in the interview. It was actually me, Annie Mae, Shelly, and Posey. That was our interview. Yeah, she played like twice, and then that's the thing though. It's like they hire all these people and they never play cop anymore. And it's like
they realize it's an actual job. It's not role play.
Yeah, dude, I fucking love playing cop, man. I think it's the best role play on the server.
I'll be honest, it almost not broke me, but I almost like said fuck it on the second ride along.
Oh, no. It gets stressful. It's really stressful. I mean, you realize what you're getting yourself into.
52 messaged me after his like second ride along. He's like, I don't know if I can do this, man. This is a lot. And I was like, listen, here's some tools that I use. Just role play and have fun with it. These people want you here. You're very funny. Keep it up. You're gonna be one of the funniest cops on the server. Trust me. Just like stick with it. And so it's like, yeah. But now look at him now, dude. You're crushing it. You just applied for partner.
Yeah, they said no. They said wait 4 more weeks and then we try.
They want to better balance your numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add something.
The fact that you're there, you're like applying is like huge.
I want to add something to that. The LSPD scene right now is going through a lot of, I don't know if it's drama, but a lot of changes.
Oh yeah,
just got poached by troopers.
Yeah, there's a lot of like clashing on how the LSPD should be, and I don't know, Booba, but when you joined the LSPD, were you the only character everyone was looking at that didn't like fit the mold of?
There was me and Mono also got hired. I think he was a little after me, so I kind of sped run cop. Like I'm not gonna lie.
You had a lot of inroads.
I went from hire to senior officer in 3 months, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But I was solo on my 5th ride along or 4th ride along, and I was full officer in less than 2 weeks.
That's LSPD. That's like, because literally I'm an FTO, and I've been recommending people for solo and like giving them sign-offs and stuff like that. And just no offense to PBSO FTIs, but it feels like it just takes forever for that kind of stuff to go through.
Yeah, I've been
LSPD went by the beard. Hardcastle's handling it before he just did his switch recently.
Yeah,
it felt like it was just getting done. It felt like shit was getting done, and you know they were trusting their FTOs, and I like that.
Yeah, John Hydra in character has been reaching out to people like, hey, like, I feel like I'm pretty much doing everything. Like, could we drop the cadet thing, or like they're trying to like be professional about it, and they're like, we'll see. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I
don't
literally
rush it. Let it happen.
I literally only had to say like, I had like made one side comment about being ready for my final eval when I was solo, and I literally got it like within a week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you had to like quote unquote speed run it just to prove that your character could do the job?
Yes, 100%.
Like a notch on your shoulder, right?
Yeah, because when I first got hired, it literally the only reason I got hired was because they were bringing me along and like saying, oh yeah, we don't really know. I talked to Sab out of character after so Posey and I interviewed. Posey got denied. I got told in character, which I hate how much like out of character stuff is talked about in character, and then how out of character stuff starts getting like accepted as roleplay in character. I hate that stuff so much.
Yeah.
Well, like getting unlisted without anybody talking to you in character about it, for example.
Yeah, stuff like that. I'll talk a little about that. That's some drama I'm willing to talk about pretty freely. But Bass literally calls me in game and says, "I have great news." After the interview, he's like, "I got great news. We're gonna have to talk about it later, but I have great news." So my character's thinking, "What? I got hired." You know, Booba's thinking he got hired, and then I get a DM. You know, like after later that night, and it says, you know, we'd be comfortable with you we're allowing you to join the PD, but we'd prefer it on another character.
I have great news.
Yeah, he tells that to my character. What even? I don't understand that. So he's like, oh yeah, your cousin can be a cop, you know? And that's the thing he kept saying to Booba. My character's a caveman. My character doesn't have cousins. Like that's I hate this like roleplay that's accepted because it's like terminology that people use. Like because it's like I don't like that stuff at all. Like
yeah, I'm not a fan of the whole cousin thing, and I don't know. You ever? We're all cops here, and Chains. You're still probably a little new, and even Hydra, but you're gonna arrest somebody at some point, and they're gonna be in the cells, and they're gonna be totally compliant. They're gonna be having a good time, and then they're gonna say something like, "My cousin applied to be a cop recently. Yeah, I wonder how his application's doing." Like,
I don't. Why would I know that?
bro,
Who's your
how
cousin?
close are you with your fucking cousin?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Stop. I don't like this cousin roleplay stuff.
I've been like combating like OOC speak in character with like confusion. Like the other day, like Carmine and I were in a car chase. It was like a B class boost or something, and the guy tries to like do a 180 onto Great Ocean off the pier, and I ended up like head-onning him because I can't stop in time because he made a dumb maneuver. So his car flips on its head. They're 1050. They all get on foot. And as they're running, they're like, "This is bullshit. Never in my life has a cop head on me and not flipped my car over and let me try again." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Are you on PCP?" He was like asking for a redo. And then Dan Faley comes by and he's like, "Dan, this guy hit me and my car flipped and he won't flip my car back over and let us go." And he's like, did you steal the car? And he's like, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "Why would he let you go?"
Yeah, Dan's the tough shit guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's not. I love Dan, dude.
But like I was saying, I had a conversation with Sab out of character after they offered me the chance to make another character to play cop. And I actually made the character. I just jumped on it because I wanted to play cop so bad. I jumped on it. I made a character. I literally had PD whitelist on this character before Booba. I still have PD whitelist on that character. If I wanted to get on that character, I could literally go roleplay as a cop as a second character.
Oh, you could perma him. That would be sick.
Literally every single time I log into NoPixel and the character screen pops up, my chat says perma link. Literally every single time, because they want me to perma that character so bad. Because I trash talked Booba. Like when he was applying, he saw the name. He's like, "What kind of name is Booga Ooga?"
The
Dude.
character's name Link, has it got something to do with like missing Link? Like, is it like Booba, the
No.
halfway-
So
that's clever,
when
though.
I was creating the character, I wanted to tie the character back into possibly FIB. And I thought, hey, I could make Bench Guy's son. So I was gonna make I was gonna make Link McConnell, like Link and Rhett. You got Rhett McConnell and Link McConnell. But I ended up talking to McConnell about it, and even before he responded, I go and look on the wiki, and Bench Guy's like 20 something, and there's literally no way he has a son. So I'm like, oh, that doesn't work. So I made Link Mitchell, and I did it, and it didn't feel right. I literally waited in the MRPD lobby for like 2 hours, and no one even ended up coming, because Bass didn't even tell anyone that they were hiring me. So I pretty much I actually ended up. I was gonna get onboarded with Nexera. We were both sitting in the MRPD lobby, and we ended up going in. He ended up towing Richard Dark's car outside the IA office, which while he was about to get onboarded, I'm like, I'm not a part of this. He literally impounds Dark's car, which is technically illegal, while he's about to get onboarded.
That's fucking funny.
But I ended up talking to Sav, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't want to create another character for this. I feel like I'd be giving up on my character if I played another character as cop.
Yep.
And I ended up trying to push this, do just my normal voice while I'm on duty, and I ended up getting even more jerked around. He's like, I called Bass, and I was doing the normal Booba voice, and he's like, wait, you're gonna do that voice on duty? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this voice on radio, and then this voice when I'm not on radio. And he's like, oh, I think that would get a little confusing. And I ended up I went to Kyle, and I wasn't even going to Kyle to can you hire me instead of Bass? I was just going for advice.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, what do I do? Do I just give up? Do I make the promises and then just end up changing down the line? And he's like, we'll just hire you. You're not going to become another Paul Leesman. So they said they were going to hire me. I ended up having a conversation with Bundy, and Bundy's like, okay, let me talk to Bass. So Bundy is pretty much the only reason Booba got hired, and then. And
what was the RP?
Yeah,
you went to speech training or something, right?
Watch Brendan Fraser movies.
Yeah, so I was gonna talk normally and act like I was doing a Brendan Fraser impression. But then it kind of just morphed into, Bundy said, yeah, you're good. You don't gotta do an impression or anything.
So then you still do the Booba voice, but you just clean up your syntax,
I clean it up a little bit, talk a little faster, and then it's morphed into kind of talking a little bit deeper than I normally do on the character.
Dude, I love that voice, man. I'd listen to a book narrated by Booba voice.
But then I got hired, and then it was just all pressure on me to perform, and I did the best I could, and I impressed a lot of people.
I don't know what it is about John Hydra, man. I feel like this guy, either people hate him and want him gone, or he's a ghost. It's such a weird thing. It's like his whole character arc has always been, he's either he's kind of there, in the back. He's in the background of every photo, but way back there, you can just barely see him. Or we're we hate this guy. Get rid of this guy. I feel like
which would you rather have? If you could choose between the two.
I don't know.
Are you going to take the Kane route?
Because
no one knows your name.
Right.
You never get in trouble.
the 52, you do the I hate this guy in the fun way. People actually love to hate Carmine. But when John Hydra,
it's only because of the ranking.
But with I hate this guy, it's with John Hydra, it's suspend and then fire him, get him out of here. It's wait, what? I thought we were playing. I thought we were role playing. What happened? That's complicated. I don't know. I don't know if you know, Fiend, but I on John Hydra, I was the second person ever hired for PD Toe.
Oh, I thought this was John Hydra's drama of the week.
No. I was the second person ever hired, right behind Willie Glory. This was directly from Angel.
Wow.
And that was a couple months after 3.0 started. So from then to a couple, 5-6 weeks ago now, is when John Hydra got hired for PBSO. That I was strung along from the beginning. They were like, oh, we'll hire you. We'll get you in the next round. We'll get you in the next round. Oh, sorry, we can't this time. And I just got dicked around the whole time. And not only that, I used to, on John Hydra in 2.0, I used to hang out with Bundy outside of MRPD while he was still dispatch, and we would like chat and just like pass time together. And he would do like food runs, so Bundy didn't have to leave, so he could like focus on the job because he was like really serious about it. And even then, we were like, somebody told me at the end of 2.0, like, oh, there's gonna be a round of hiring. Bundy's gonna be in it. We'll get you in it too. And then when I came to be like, hey, what, like, where is it? And they're like, oh, like you can't because of reasons. And I was like, okay, sure, man.
Yeah, I heard early 3.0, like it was really hard to get. They're very selective.
And then I was mad, so I deleted John Hydra, and then I remade him with a slightly, because it was it used to be JHON, and I changed it to JOHN because you can't reuse names. I was mad, and then
it was Jahan.
It was Jahan.
Hydra?
Yeah.
Jahan.
That's the Littleman's dad. We've changed it to Jahan Littleman because we want Han to play him at some point. we just want a dev or an admin to play our father.
That'd be good.
I think it'll be funny.
Lowercase J,
Han's
capital
really
H, Jahan.
Yeah, Jahan Littleman. Yeah, he's really good at rolling with shit like that. Like
Yeah, Han is so funny.
Style. Yeah. So
if I had to be fucked with by a dev, it would absolutely be Han. I think that's so funny.
okay, so Fiend, listen. When I heard you were gonna be on the show, I said to myself, what can I ask this guy? You know, what are some questions that will be interesting that people would want to know? Do you know where this is going? Because we want the tea. I know you can't say much, like exclusive. We got a
exclusive.
Exclusive. Here we go. Tiny hint at what's coming for the FIB.
Ooh, what do we got?
Anything you can give us. I know there's not a lot, but well, what can you say? What can you say? How big is this? 'Cause, we all know there's a lot in the works right now. You've been putting a lot of work in outside of character, in character. Like there's shit going down.
Yeah, there's been a lot of out of character time spent trying to get things rolling. I can't say too much. All I can really say is it's happening.
Okay. Well, are we talking
Nice.
like new department, new mechanics? Like what? Like okay, we're just getting a nod. That's okay.
That's sick.
We're getting admin backing. We're getting asked the things we want. We're getting more than we could even ask for.
Nice.
We're getting a lot of support. Like when I say like a lot of support, I mean literally I've had conversations with admins and Coil, basically like asking for our opinion on things and asking what we want.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, Cole's been coming back too recently, like making changes and like it's been pretty
Destroying the
interesting.
LSPD, but
I mean, how could you destroy something that's already broken? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna start small. There's like an out of character agreement right now that we're not hiring any agents or anyone to be agents. It's the understanding is it's just myself, Kiwo, and McConnell right now.
I think it should be. I think it should be like super selective about who you eventually end up hiring.
Oh yeah.
I think it should be people that actually want to put like work and time in, because I think the FIB, if it were an actual entity in the server, should scare the fuck out of criminals.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot circulating and going around, and I'm not sure if you guys, and this is, I mean, it's kind of metagaming, but at the end of the day, it's it's out of character. So, we were talking to Cerberus, a lot, and there was a lot of conversations being had about getting supplied with different things from Cerberus, and McConnell shut that shit down so fast.
Ah, man.
I saw some clips of McConnell shutting it down and like Lang losing his mind. Like what?
Yeah,
what was the reason? Like why'd the?
So I've totally through power and will started making FIB happen again.
Yeah.
It has literally just been me creating conversation around it and getting people interested. I mean, McConnell's always been doing his thing. Obviously, he was gone for a long time, and I kind of kept up with it. I was just trying to talk to anyone and everyone that could help, pretty much. So I was talking to Cerberus because, I mean, Dean Watson is
Dean
whatever he wants, he makes happen pretty
Yeah.
much. So, you know, I talked with them, you know, I was interested in like getting like a helicopter and cars and stuff. And uh, we ended up getting the elevator fixed, which allows us to role play in this office type environment, which is
That's
actually
so
just
sick.
like the best thing ever. Like it is the most enjoyable role play to do, to just have an office full of people and create like reasons to involve more people, like Booba destroyed a printer because it wasn't working and we had to call Digital Den to come in and fix the printer. And
Just making RP.
you know, like literally just
RP.
creating role play
I
out of
love
nothing.
that.
And it's so enjoyable. It's like getting back to the roots of Booba, which has been, you know, partly why I'm kind of doing FIB. And the in-character reason why Booba is kind of like always stuck with FIB and started to like, you know, get things going again is because, for one, obviously making Bench Guy proud. That's always been like his reasoning behind doing things. But bringing people that he loved back to the city, because Posey, you know, Jay was, you know, kind of done. Once she didn't get hired for PD, she kind of just like,
It hurts, man. It hurts.
I don't want to be around anymore. That was pretty much what she was saying. Her, McConnell, Kiwo, like doing everything I've done has brought those people back. And it's honestly I'm
That's
so
sick,
happy
man.
that's
Fuck yeah.
like out of character is a lot more rewarding than it even is in character. But it's really starting to turn into something good. And I'm really glad that McConnell shut down the Cerberus stuff in character, because I was just
Like desperately trying to make anything happen.
exactly. I was trying to get construction done. That was my main thing. I wanted that elevator fixed so we could do that role play, and it's so good. But it got fixed, and then, you know, McConnell comes in. He's like, "We're not doing this groveling on our hands and knees. We are a federal bureau." You know, like really RP checking people, which he always does so well. Let's be completely honest.
That's literally just McConnell being himself. That's
Yeah.
McConnell bleeding into Bench Guy. He wants that autonomy.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to make his own decisions, right? It's
Somebody
exactly
remind me
who
to
he
make
is.
a character named ARR, first name, last name P apostrophe check.
Yeah.
RP check.
Nice.
You want to hang out with John Gang member?
John
after
Gang member and RDMer.
And OOC local, just keep going -1 +1.
Okay, so hold on.
Drive
Let
people
me just
crazy.
get all this straight for the clips. What you're trying to tell me is that the FIB is getting new guns, new cars,
my God!
new mechanics, all coming into the city soon.
The FIB
TM?
will be able to arrest
Soon.
other police officers?
And pull rank on scene. Oh my god.
Well,
That's crazy. Thanks for that first look information into the future of the FIB.
Dude, I'm actually
They're
really
stealing
excited
our
for...
roleplay.
Flip it.
I'm excited for pissed off roleplay about an actual roleplay, mind you, not actually being pissed off, of like, this is a federal scene, get out of here. The fuck are you talking about? Throws hat on ground, like,
Hey,
you know,
I'm-
like
Kidding me?
If
You
I'm
get that already
ever
from SCU.
if I'm ever involved in that, oh my god, I'm gonna.
oh yeah,
milk
that's
that
another
shit like
thing.
crazy.
SCU
SCU is scrambling, man.
What do you mean?
There's so I've been getting like contacted in character and out of character about FIB from SCU people.
Well, they're afraid that you're gonna like take over.
they're like,
kind
what are
of.
we going
I
to be
mean,
if
I
there's
don't-
FIB, right?
I can't
Yeah.
speak too much about what they're thinking because I don't know, but they're trying to set up meetings about what FIB is doing and things like that. And like, I'm all right. Drama time. It's
Okay.
drama
Oh,
time.
shit. All right, hold on.
I'm ready.
So much
Cue
tea,
drama
so
time
much
music.
tea.
And I don't blame this person specifically, but Hardcastle, aka By the Beard, reached out to me, out of character, and asked me about Booba's position at FIB and regarding SCU. I told him, I'm gonna create an RP reason why Booba has to leave SCU. You know, I told him, I'm like, you know what, it's gonna make the most sense. You know, I'm gonna create a reason why, because FIB and SCU is not really gonna work together, in the sense of I can't be in both.
Right.
I am gonna create so much roleplay for SCU when FIB gets off the ground. Let me just tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I've already done that for HVTU with the Skinwalker event thing that I created, which was,
cool.
so enjoyable to put
We
on.
might watch some clips.
I'm
For
gonna
that
do the
later.
same thing for SCU. I'm gonna do the exact same thing for SCU. I'm gonna create investigations that they can do and things like that. But he reached out to me. I told him that. I told him, you know, it's not really gonna work. I'm gonna create a roleplay reason why Booba has to leave. The next day, I lose my permissions for SCU in Discord. So this out of character conversation I had with someone led to an in character, and
Punishment,
Booba still
basically.
has access to SCU reports in the MDW. So my character has no reason to believe that he's not in SCU.
But you were basically out of character, like slapped on the wrist. You were like, nope, you're out. Like you don't get to be in the inner circle anymore.
Yeah, basically. Like, I got all my permissions in Discord removed. I can't see SCU channels or anymore, you know. And I had kind of had this conversation on my stream, and I'm like, to what reason would they have to, you know, do that as an in-character decision? That is a complete out-of-character decision gained from out-of-character knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That affects my character in character.
Yeah.
Because do I roleplay that my character knows that he doesn't have permissions in Discord anymore?
That would be
Because that's
weird
an
because you still have
out-of-character
access,
thing?
right? No, you just
Exactly, but I still have permission in the MDW. There's an in-character channel for SCU in Discord. What am I supposed to act like? I no longer can see that in character, even though it's an out-of-character thing in character.
I would make people feel so awkward deliberately. I'd be like, weird. I can't see the thing anymore. Why? Why can't I see it anymore?
Yeah.
It's so strange. Must be a bug.
It just doesn't. It's like they wanted to have the upper hand. That's my opinion. Is I was gonna leave anyways for my character, but now do I even get to do that because they made the first move? It's like it doesn't. It's hard for me to understand. It's like it's almost like they would rather roleplay out of character than in character.
Yeah, it's super annoying. That's
Well, I feel like, and I wouldn't blame Hardcastle because
No, and I don't blame
no,
him
no.
specifically. I'm sure it wasn't even his decision.
just like a departmental
that's
decision making
exactly,
is what I
yeah,
call
it was-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they I've been getting messages, texts in game asking Booba. He's like, "Oh, so what's happening with FIB? Can we have a meeting? Can we talk about things?" Like it's funny seeing them scrambling. It's like I have no intentions of stealing any investigations. You know, I don't even want FIB to be really involved in like mediocre or like PD level investigations.
This is gonna be
You know,
like
it's all
big
gonna
shit,
be
like terroristic.
it's all
shit.
gonna be big shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I wish people would just be happy, you know.
Just like
for
let
people.
I wish people would just let the RP happen.
Yeah.
That's really like 90% of my complaints is I wish people would just let the RP fucking happen. Like relax, dude.
Yeah. I want to talk about two things. It might be a little, you know, drama basy.
Mhm.
Might be a hot take, but I feel like NoPixel, there's a lot of people in NoPixel who want to keep things stagnant and not change because of their position in it and how, you know, their character and their role play can affect OOC things like their Twitch channels. So if they see like big changes, they might feel threatened and then they try and shut it down. And another
Yeah,
thing I wanted
agree.
to bring up is I've probably spent the least amount of time as out of the four of us. I have spent the least amount of time out of the four of us doing cop roleplay. But I've already noticed that there's a lot of decisions that are made outside of roleplay.
Oh,
Like
Yep.
OOC,
yeah.
like
Yep.
crazy sums. There's things that actually I'm gonna keep quiet on
And
this
that's
one.
the I think aware. That emote perfectly describes becoming a cop on NoPixel.
How does it
Literally,
how does
like,
it look?
it starts out, you know what, the clueless emote?
Mm-hmm.
It morphs from that into like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like that, because it literally is like that. When you become a cop on NoPixel, you just realize how much out of character stuff is happening and how
It's
like it
crazy.
really ruins roleplay because of like you could create so many cool things around, you know, like in character like decisions. Obviously they can be made out of character, but if they're, you know, done in character, it could create a lot of cool roleplay.
Yeah, just
it's
knowing
like,
that. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
It's like, I mean, it's like when people get fired out of character, or people get like suspended out of character. Hi, Troms. Like how do you role play that? Like, you can't. And it like they even if they just came up with a stupid reason and like and you know and you yes and it. You know, they just maybe someone messages, hey, we're gonna make this decision. It's based off of what happened here, but we're gonna do this. That way you can, you know, turn it into something. Like that's that's um the consideration that needs to be made when doing things out of character. And it's just like they don't want to bother, they don't want to take the time to do things like that, so they just don't.
So actually, I have something to say on that because I mean we've talked about it before on the show and whatnot. As everyone likes to call it, the cone incident, right? Stubble and I decided out of character because we had no in character reason as to why we weren't cops, and for like Moosebeard, I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of expected. It was gonna happen at some point, but for a guy like Stubble, who's like grade A by the
like
book,
a golden boy,
S tier cop, yeah, golden boy. It was very unexpected, right? So we came up with this thing like, oh, we're gonna be in KO Perico for a little bit. You know, I said, well, why don't, because we're part of the Shark Rangers, why don't we go over there to that small little island, and we'll help bolster their like military, right? Like their police force over there. They're having issues with drug trafficking and all that. We'll go over, we'll do some Shark Ranger shit, you know, help them out. Well, you know, when we get back, we're back on the force. We're telling everybody about this. This is our in-character reason as to like why we were gone, why we were off the force. But then everybody else is oh, so the cone thing, huh? Cone guy, huh? And it's like, what do you mean,
Cone guy.
right? Like, how? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah. Whenever somebody says cone things now, Moosebeard, I've noticed, just says, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable with this role play.
There's this guy in Legion Square who was dressed up as a big orange cone. And I showed Moosebeard. And he had a PTSD attack.
Yeah.
It was
I said, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Have you ever this is for any of you guys, have you ever reported anybody?
No, never.
Nope.
No, and you know what? I've had opportune reasons to do it, but I feel like nothing has ever been so bad that I was like, you know, for me, it would need to be like, this guy would need to be like openly racist or say something just completely hateful to another person, because at the end of the day, to me, NoPixel and roleplay in general, I don't care what kind of character you roleplay. I don't care who you are. We're all here to have fun, right? Whether you're doing a serial killer thing, whether you're doing something very, very serious, I don't give a shit what you're doing. We're all here for a good time, and I try to believe that everybody's got a good heart and good intentions, and so I'm not gonna role play a guy who fucking pits me at 150 miles per hour 3 times during an S+ pursuit and then brags about it afterwards, like, because I just don't care. And you know, it just, like, I'm here to have fun. I'm not going to spend 30 minutes of my time typing up a report, you know, letting all this toxicity and negativity flow through me when I could just move on and like forget about it.
I'm willing to let most roleplay lie, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like a lot of the times I feel like people get reported in NoPixel because the person that it happened to is upset about the roleplay that happened, and because they lost or something along those lines.
That's crazy.
And reporting someone, if you're reporting them out of, I want this to be reversed, which 90% of the time it doesn't get reversed anyways. You're not reporting to make the server better. You're reporting because you lost.
I've only ever reported somebody once, and that's because they kept using the F slur. And when I /OOCL, and I was like, "Hey, dude, that's not how we talk on this server." Because we in character talked about how they just flown in, and he like responded to the OOCL message in character and was like, "Man, shut up, you know, F slur, fuck you." And I was like, "All right, dude, I'm just reporting this guy." And I didn't even like go to the forums. I did the /report function, and he was like gone. He was gone.
It sounds like a COD lobby.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I just, I gotta believe that everybody's got a good heart, you know, at least wants to be here for a good reason. And yeah, I'm gonna, if I ever were to see something that's like an exploit or someone just being hateful, openly hateful, yeah, I'll probably report them, right, if it really irks me. But so far, you know, 3 years on the server, haven't met anybody who, I think I also have a good sense of people, you know, where it's like I'll see somebody and you get a sense of who they are. You're like, oh, not gonna hang out with this guy or roleplay with this guy, and then you kind of move away from that, right?
You know where the line is.
Yeah. So I guess I've never just hung out with people who are prone to, you know, being the way that I would report somebody.
Heard it here first, folks. Troms, gamer elitist, RP.
Yeah.
If you can't
RP
be at his,
elitist.
Oh,
if you can't be at his RP level, he's not even gonna be near you. No, I think almost everybody does that, right? What I don't like is when that starts happening with like groups before you actually get a chance to roleplay with them, right? Like Stanky like got cut out of a lot of groups because he's like a little loud and a little obnoxious, and it went from like, oh, this guy's like a silly goofball to like, don't come around here or we will shoot you. And I was like, oh, this is weird. Like,
don't come to the barrio.
Basically, yeah.
You know what I use to combat that is not to care as much and just to try and be as self-sufficient as possible in roleplaying. That's something I had to do on my cop, especially when I was a cadet. There was a lot of FTOs.
Still a cadet.
So I'm a solo cadet. There's a difference. But there was a lot of FTOs that would, like, pass me around, and some of the ride-alongs felt like you know, they weren't doing it for the role play, they were doing it for the cash reward at the end, and it drained me. So now that I'm a solo cadet, I just try and do shit on my own. I just freeball it. I try and do shit solo dolo, and I feel like if you're the one orchestrating your own role play and you don't have to, you know, worry about external things, shit's just more fluid. I don't know if you guys do that too, but that's me.
Dude, I really go ahead.
With taking cadets and stuff like that, I always put way too much effort in, and I always like, taking a cadet's like a big deal for me, because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna assess this person to where they're at. I'm going to do my best to get them to that next stage, and I'll do literally anything I can to, you know, get them there. Because it's not, I don't just do, oh, I'm just gonna take someone with me and I'm gonna do my normal cop thing and I'm gonna, you know,
you're actually
maybe,
FTOing them.
I'm actually FTOing them, because a lot of the times I see people take cadets, it's literally just they do their thing and they have someone with them, and it's like, okay, you watch me, you learn, that's it. You know, it's like, I literally can't tell you how many times I've taken cadets down to LSIA and actually like gone through the whole ringer with them, and like, okay, you know, this is how you do traffic stops. This is like all the little things that, you know, like you're probably gonna do that you should not do, and things like that. And it's, I want to give them the experience that they deserve, because, you know, cadets get, you know, scrutinized so much, and I don't feel like it's entirely their fault most of the time, to be completely honest with you. I mean, you either, you know, get taught in a way that like maybe you have like 3 or 4 ride-alongs. Like I had four maybe 5 ride-alongs before I was solo, and I think that's because I had good FTOs. Now, if someone who does not have good FTOs, maybe they have like 9 or 10 ride-alongs, and, you know, there's these FTOs are like, well, why is this person not, you know, have as much knowledge as this person? It's like, well, maybe look at their FTOs. Look how much effort their FTOs are putting in. You know, like, that's the biggest part. Like, I see people type in the FTO chat in Discord, and it pisses me off, because it's like, I see all these people complaining about people, and it's just like, move on, do something better, try to help them.
Dude,
don't just talk about them like that.
I really want to FTO. I really think as a person, I learn really well from teaching other people, and I also I get a lot of I get paid back like energetically by like doing stuff like that. No. And I think it's gonna be so fun. That's a big goal for John Hydra. First goal is to be the first mounted officer. The second is FTO.
FTO is great. It's honestly so good. I love taking cadets. I just, like I said, I put so much effort into it. It like actually like, it's a big deal for me. It's like 4 hours. It's like, I'm gonna put it like my heart and soul into this person. And it's like, I don't do it as much as I wish I did, especially since like FIB stuff's happening now. But yeah, it's a good experience. A lot of work,
especially if you're you know, I tend to take cadets and give them a very relaxed session. You know, I do my job, and I feel like I've got a good balance between being, you know, very serious and very goofy as well. But the way that I found like I did the best learning was when I was the most relaxed with officers that I was relaxed with. Guys like Clarence Williams, rest his soul, and you know, Captain Cheeto, who plays Ridley Adams, who's rarely around anymore, but when he does come around, he just absolutely loves to talk to all the people he FTOs, because that's all he does when he comes around, is just FTO people. It's like I want to give them that same relaxed feeling that these guys gave me, because that's when I learned the most. I felt most comfortable. It wasn't the, you know, as much as I learned from, say, riding with Vale, I was definitely not relaxed at all.
Yeah.
It was a very stressful session, to be honest. So I just love giving that kind of feeling, you know, that relaxed.
Who was all of your guys' first FTO? Who did your first FTO when you were still a cadet?
I don't remember.
Mine was Gunner, and it lasted 20 minutes.
That's right. Mine was Gunner as well, and I think it lasted an hour or two. And I had never driven a CVPI before, and he said, "All right, you're driving." I'm like, "Yes, sir. Right away, sir." And you know,
I
just
think
went from there.
I think mine was Percy Weaver.
Ooh, nice.
So I had Percy Weaver. I had Ripley. I had who else? I had Winston Walker. I had Moosebeard. And then I think I had one more. I don't remember exactly who it was, but I remember my solo cert. When I got my solo cert, I was with Winston Walker, and we were in an 80, and we were going off the exit to Popular from Olympic. And if you hit that off ramp going eastbound,
you're going flying
too fast. You do not hit the exit. You hit the wall on the building next to the giant tanker. And I literally minutes before I did that, he texts Hardcastle and says, "Yeah, he's ready for solo."
Oh no.
Yeah.
People
was
do that
great.
shit as a full officer.
Yeah.
I don't think people should be afraid of mistakes like that. It's
Yeah,
whatever.
no. Driving
Shit
mistakes are
happens.
like, no one really cares. Like,
My first.
I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
there's SRU drivers who'll get really heated about it, but I really just like blow that shit off. Like, there was the most recent PD meeting that we had. I'm there for 5 minutes. Han says on his robotic microphone what they're adding, and then for the next 20 minutes I hear SRU drivers complain about getting rammed at 100 miles an hour, and then I just leave. I literally just left because I'm like, these people are literally like, it's gonna happen. I'm sorry, but getting rammed at 100 miles an hour is gonna happen. Reporting them all you like, but it's gonna happen. It's not gonna stop.
That's the thing. That's exactly the thing.
It's not. The thing is they're not going.
That or get shot.
They're not going. I am going to ram these guys at 100+ miles an hour. They're running. They're role playing, running from cops, and they're trying not to get caught. And whether it's in character or out of character motivation, the ramming is like, oh, I'm interfering. I'll just bump this guy. You're not thinking of it like you're not in a car driving 100 miles. Of course, you would never do that in real life. But No Pixel RP doesn't take place in real life. It takes place in the GTA universe where this shit's normal.
Yeah, where you take crazy jumps and
where you get where Moosebeard gets shot everywhere in his vest 6 times a week and he's fucking fine. Like, we can't arbitrarily draw lines in sand. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna be. Go ahead,
man. I just left. It literally was. I just devolved into people complaining about stuff like that, and apparently it went on for like another hour. So I'm glad I left when I did.
Jeez.
We didn't even show up. It was during like episode 5 or something like that.
Oh yeah, we were like, should we go? And we were like, we already scheduled our guess. We shouldn't reschedule.
Yeah, Windaloo gave me the patch notes. He gave me the notes on it, so we were able to disseminate that.
I remember who my first FTO was. I was waiting for Moosebeard because it was going to be my first FTO session, but he had to wait because it was like 3 PBSO cadets in front of me. And so, like, you were like, let me wait till the list is like a little smaller and then we'll go. And so I went to the casino to wait because I was in on my own ticket, on my own prio. and I caught God, I can't remember his name, but he's like a funny guy who always like has guns. He's like a up north desert gang. Oh, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he's a funny guy, and he was in the casino with a class 2, like just bragging about gambling and buying drugs, and so like John was just straight like 911 snitching. Not snitching, he's a cop. He's like he's a cop. So, and Brian Knight shows up, and they arrest the guy, and Brian Knight's like, Hydra, you called this in? And I'm like, yes, sir. And he's like, all right, go put your uniform on and come on. You're coming with me. You're my ride along today. And I was like, yeah.
How poetic.
I was like, let's go, baby.
That's someone who I've actually like. It's like out of character and in character is like I've started to like a lot more.
Oh,
like,
Medi, yeah, Medi's incredible.
The things he out of like, if you don't like really like interact with him much, the interactions can generally like be pretty bad. Like, because he's true to his character.
Yeah.
And his character's
Brian
an
Knight's
asshole.
a fucking asshole.
And, yeah. And
well, I don't know if I go an asshole. He's a hard ass.
That's true.
He's a hard ass for cadets.
He's very selfish.
But when you're not a cadet, he's mean.
Brian Knight is a very selfish character. He'll like cut through the bullshit because it's not worth his time to like sit there and do it. When you look at the totality of what Brian Knight does, it's very consistent, which is like a rare thing in NoPixel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've learned actually like even out of character, but like more in character, like Booba's like learned to have a lot of respect for Brian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the things he says are very good. He's actually like one of the more like lenient too, when it comes to like cadets and stuff. Like he actually wants them to learn and like realize what they did wrong, not just punish them and move on.
Yeah, he gave me when I got uniformed, he made me sure I had all of my stuff. He pocket checked me, and she's like, don't put this here. That's dumb. Put this in this pocket. Like, go here. And he's like, okay, Hydra, you know, like you and I have known each other for a while, and I know your grandpa, who's Beverly he's actually who gave me Prio back in 2.0 when he was still an admin. And he's like, and I know your grandpa, so I'm going to ask you because I trust you. Do you want the soft treatment where we're going to go through the basics, or do you want me to turn you into a good fucking cop? And I was like, we both know which one it is, sir. Damn. And he went so hard on me. I was like shaking from nerves because he was like, no, this is wrong. Go like this. And he asked me in the beginning, he's like, once we start, we're not going to stop until the session's done. So like, I need you to decide. And I did. I honestly learned so much in one session that whenever I went for my second ride along with Moose Beard, dude, I was like, oh, I can breathe. And that's where I was laughing earlier when we were talking about FTOs because Moose Beard was asking about the use of force matrix, and I kept talking about like calling open hand like bludgeoning damage. He's like, what would you call it if you used your baton? I was like, bludgeoning damage.
It was funny because he's one of the first times I met Hydra. I think out of character, he told me, he's like, yeah, I've campaigned a few like D&Ds, right? A few D&D campaigns or DM'd them. I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I don't know. As soon as he said like, I was like, all right, what would you consider like fists? And he just goes bludgeoning. I just thought it was so funny. I was like, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. That's right. It's bludgeoning. You know what? If we're on the subject of cadets, I got a couple favorite cadets right now. There's Gemma Zimmerman. She's great. There's Mad Wayne Thunder.
Yep,
he's
Banana
funny. Duck, who's very, very funny. I'm looking forward to FTOing him at some point.
I still can't believe that's not Noodle Toot. They sound so similar when he's doing that character voice.
I love Noodle Toot. It was just great.
I feel bad because he's literally doing Chuck Danger, and everyone's just calling him Chuck Danger, and it's like, guys, it's not Chuck Danger, it's Wayne Thunder.
Yeah, I want Noodle Toot on Steve Seagal to be a fucking cop too with Mad Wayne Thunder. They'd be so good together.
That'd be great. Oh man, one of my favorite cadets right now. I don't know if you guys know him or not. He's actually present right now. His name is 52 Chains. He plays Carmine Costello. Absolutely one of my favorite cadets. This guy is always getting into something. I saw you teamed up with my good friend Moses, Derek Mosley, recently to play your brother. And man,
dude, I've seen
a couple small clips, but that looks like the funniest shit. Just you two goofing and oh man, you are gonna get in trouble. I'm not gonna lie, but I think everybody recognizes it as such good role play that it's role play trouble, right? It's not like actual. At least I hope not. I
What'd
hope
you
it's
do with
not
my
actual
fucking
trouble.
brother? He
That-
jumped in the
that's the
water.
pro-
Jumps in the water.
What are you
Oh,
doing,
man, that
Carmine? I
had
can
me in
swim.
tears. Where are you, Carmine?
Oh.
That's my brother. He jumps in. Oh man, that was funny.
It was all on a whim too. It was like literally 30 minutes before I went live. Moosebait asked me, "Hey, are you okay if I make a relative of yours?"
Yeah.
Moses, he asks me if he's down. If he can make a relative of mine. He did it. I hop on the server and I get a call from Hayes saying someone's looking for me at the bank. And that's when we first met, and we just freeballed it. No, nothing.
Dude,
Scripted,
we should all make Costellos. Like make them like one shot characters.
and fucking just charge Kyle Pred, try and kill him.
That would actually be
Please,
so
yes,
funny.
Please.
Heard you been making it
Carmine,
fucking hard on
we'll
my
do whatever
brother.
you need, Carmine. Hey, this guy messing with you, Carmine.
Hey, I heard you been fucking with my brother Carmine.
Yeah,
The pet he uses is so fucking good.
It's
too.
jacked,
It's
too,
basically
Yeah.
it's the same face, but if you hit Jim, it's really good.
So, if somebody has the clip, I'd love to pull it up and actually watch that. And maybe for once we'll get it in the show notes, guys. They exist now. and we're
that's
gonna
right.
do
Okay,
that.
hold on, let me get my notepad out.
Because there's this clip where we'll see if we can find it, but I want you guys to pay attention to in the clip what Moses does, because he is putting on a show for Kyle Pred. He's pretending to be Carmine and he acts as though he's reading from a script, and I think this was not planned. This was all like, he didn't have like something to go off of. You guys, I'm going to assume you guys just said, all right, convince him this is what we're going after, right? And then Moses just took it to a whole other level, and he says, approaches Pred, or Pred approaches him, and then he says something, but he pulls out his phone, and he looks at his phone as though he's reading from a script.
Yeah.
Puts his phone away, says it, and then realizes he forgot the next part, pulls out his phone again, looks at it like, and then puts it away, and it just felt so, it felt right, you know, it felt like role play done right.
Mm-hmm.
I was very,
Did we have a
that
clip?
had me
Maybe
in
a
tears.
clip?
Clippers? No, I don't have it. I might be able to find it. It was like a 12K view clip on Kyle's channel.
Hold on, let's see if we can find it real quick.
Yeah, that was honestly, Carmine has been, it's been fun to watch because nobody is that ballsy.
You got it? Do you want to share it in Discord for us?
You want me to just link it and you can do it?
I've got a question. Do they still talk about Carmine in the FTO channel, or has that stopped yet?
Yeah, I can do it.
There you go.
I don't know. Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get
As a
brought up
yes,
lot,
I'll
like
I'll
pretty
take
much
it as a
every
yes.
day,
I will say one
actually.
thing. I will say one thing. It's been more in character lately, which
Thank
I
God.
think is a lot more beneficial for the overall role play.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when it comes down to something specifically like a troublesome member of PD, okay, so in my eyes, there are three things that make it like okay. First is you're not power gaming, right? You're not using your cop powers to benefit yourself in any way. Two, you're not hurting anybody because the only person you're hurting is yourself. And maybe, I guess, the people who have to deal with the repercussions of it. And three, it's not corruption. Like it is corruption, but it's not corruption to the extent of like, oh, I'm peddling weapons or I'm selling IFACs or, you know, I'm using
pretty sure that could
cop
just get
access
you-
that I have.
Get you fired.
It's
Selling cop guns. I wonder if anyone's ever done that and gotten away with it.
well, I mean, Littlemans may have tried it, but they got raided recently. So, oh, Fiend. I metagamed. Okay, guys.
All right, real quick,
Good
before
story.
this,
Well,
you want to watch the clip
Let's
real
get
quick?
this clip going because I have a ooh.
All right, so
I was so happy to tell you about this recently.
so what we're gonna do is let me adjust this positionally, change it a little bit. Okay,
So there's a little bit of backstory for everybody about to watch this clip with us. Actually, Carmine, you know more about it than me. Why don't you tell? What's the backstory to this clip?
Okay, so basically the skit is my brother's my protector, and he's gonna deal with all the people that have been fucking with me. So imagine you're calling your older sibling to school to fuck up the bullies. And we were working down a list, and I knew I needed to put Kyle at the end, because if I put that motherfucker somewhere down the middle or the beginning, the roleplay is gonna end. He's gonna probably shoot him, is and curtains closed. But then, yeah, we give him Kyle a call. We tell him, hey, Chumash, I want to settle this. This is Carmine saying this. And then he shows up. My brother's going to be the person he sees. And because he's jacked, it's going to look like a progression arc where he hit the gym and shit and got ready for this, been preparing for this, like straight out of Dragon Ball Z. And literally 3 sentences in.
All right, we'll play from the clip here. Yeah, okay. All right, so what we're gonna do is, since it's too hard for me to share it when I'm also recording, we're gonna everybody get it prepped, get it at 0. I'll say 3, 2, 1, play, and we'll play it.
I'm ready.
Where is this? And
It's in studio.
Yeah, I got it.
I just realized this clip was clipped by the guy that plays Fiddlesticks as well.
Oh, it's awesome. All right, 3, 2,
okay, yeah, I see
1,
that.
play.
Hello, it is me, Carmine. Hello, Sheriff Pred. I
See how he
have
pulls
called
out
you
his
here
phone,
to
and then again
sort out all of our personal grievances that you and I have had in our employment.
Carmine, where the fuck are you?
My brother, what did you do, you monster bully?
Carmine, I can fucking swim. It's fine. I think he's on to us.
I think he's on to us.
Carmine,
I think he's on to us.
52, your roleplay feels so fucking genuine, man. I genuinely think you might be one of the best role players on the server, dude. Your roleplay is so fucking. It just hits different. What are you doing, you monster?
What are you doing?
Down, it's so good, man. I think part of it is that you're a psychopath and you're not afraid of consequences too much.
I'll be honest, that's a problem. The amount of
Yeah.
times people in my chat tell me, "Hey, don't do that, you'll get fired," and I gloss over it is insane.
His chat is
I remember-
like a doting mother. His chat's like, Carmine, you're gonna get fucking fired. Stop. People will literally donate
Do your
to tell him to
paperwork.
stop.
I remember, I think this was you. So before I got whitelisted, I was watching like Moon and Forsen play NoPixel. And I remember there was an instance on top of I think it was the garage near Roy Lowenstein behind Davis PD with Carmine and Sven Snoosberg. So Forsen was hired to kill Carmine by I think it was Slim. And he calls it the top of the garage, and I don't know if he shot him or beat Carmine up or anything, but he has him in the car and he drives him off the top of the garage, and before the car hits the ground, he says, "Enjoy your life," and he jumps out while the car is going off the garage, and he dies too right by the garage, and Carmine's fine in the
I
car.
remember that. Oh, it's so good.
Enjoy your life.
So long ago.
Like, what a message. Like, okay, this guy killed himself to tell me to enjoy my life. I guess I'll live life to the fullest.
It was that was one of my, because I am a very avid Forsen watcher, and that was a real great moment.
That's super funny.
I do have a question for you, Fiend. How did you find out about NoPixel? Was it through a certain person's stream?
2019. I watched every second of Young Dab.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Every single second. I literally
Did you go back and watch his VODs because he uploaded them all to YouTube?
I didn't. I did start watching a little bit. Like I started because it's a lot of content. I started watching. I think I watched like the first 5 streams of it again. But yeah, that character was a real great character. I was like, I literally could not watch.
It felt at the time. It felt like we've talked about this before, but it was fresh at the time, but it was also like right at the boom, and it was at a time when people actually felt as though consequences were real.
Dude, Class 2s were so rare. I miss it so much, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that character was so good. That storyline, man. Oh. And I remember the last stream where he was like talking with Gomer and Mel and all
Saying goodbye
them.
on Prune
Yeah,
Street.
yeah. I remember when Gomer pulled up and started playing "Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone."
Ugh,
Yeah.
I just got chills.
Do you remember OTT's song, The Last
Yeah.
Dab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that
Good
2.0
times,
is
man.
I actually love that so much, and that's the only real reason I applied was because 3.0 came around. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of done streaming Dota. I kind of had like a hiatus from streaming because I had streamed Dota for so freaking long.
I think that's called self-harm, dude. Streaming Dota.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna just give it a shot. Why not? You know, what's the worst that could happen? And then I got, accepted after 3 tries. And I'm like,
yeah.
wow.
I wish we could go back to that.
I want 4.0. I know Coil's waiting to see if 6 drops or what. He doesn't want to make the devs work to make a new thing. I think he wants it, but he's just waiting to see what happens because it wouldn't make sense if 6 drops and if they announce it for 2 years from now or something.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think a server quote unquote update is gonna fix the level of role.
It's gonna make it worse.
imagine if tomorrow all the gangsters with tape like benches were notified by their contacts that which would just be like a message that pops up when you open your bench. It's like shipments have been like FIB is onto us. Shipments are way too hard to come by. This bench will lose the ability to make certain things starting tomorrow, and then tomorrow all they can make is fucking pistols again. There's no more class 2s.
I don't know. I don't think it's guns that are the issue. If I'm being honest, I'd say it's cars. Cars, in my opinion, are probably the biggest issue.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. I think, I genuinely think that like the biggest mistake, maybe not mistake, maybe problem. I think the direction they went with making public like the paid prio. I think paid prio was a step down in the wrong path. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it ruined NoPixel, but I think that having paid prio basically gives someone the mindset of like, I'm paying for this. I want to do the things that everyone else is doing. Like I want to get my money's worth, and they are missing the point of role play. And it's like they have all these people that their whole focus is just money. And that's literally the reason I created Booba, was because I was tired of the whole money aspect. I literally didn't have a bank account for 3 months playing that character.
Yeah, and that's crazy to me. 3 months, no.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could do that.
I definitely think the economy is like the crux of the problem, right? Well, really the crux of the problem is like we can't like all come together and agree what roleplay means, right? But like the real crux is like a solvable problem is the economy. I think if when you robbed the bank you got $5,000 or something, right? If you robbed one of the small banks, and 20,000 if you robbed a big bank, and the cars still cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands, like actual expensive cars, I think it would give people a different flavor of how to play, because money is so easy to come by for like the high tier gangsters and criminals that there's no consequence.
It's gotten to the point where like the criminals are just making money off of businesses now. That's like 90% of the way they make money. Like
some of it's
if
even manned businesses. It's stores.
Yeah.
Like Pit Stop
Yeah,
Why
why
do we get rid of the RP hubs and like turn into storefronts? Like, what was that decision?
I don't know, but it killed Civ
response
RP.
to getting rid of the biggest RP hub, the Dean's World and the Andy Jones Farmers Market, right?
Dude, I loved
killed
both of those
Civ
places.
RP.
They were so
One of
fun
the
to go
best
to.
places for civilians, and we'll close that, and then we'll just make it all around the city.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks how much civilians have been shafted. The
Oh,
entire
yeah.
reason, the only reason I'm on the server still, I don't enjoy criminal roleplay because I hate grinding. I used to like Civ RP because Civ RP was you didn't have to grind, you just fucked around with other creative people. And now that the hubs were gone, I was gonna walk away from NoPix. I was gonna go back to Wild RP or some shit. But then saving graces, I got hired as a cop. That's probably the only reason I'm still there.
Yeah, so that's my same shoes. and that's the reason why letter J left, was because Civ roleplay was killed pretty much, and cop roleplay was the last option that Civs had at the time.
Like a retirement home.
Yeah, no, I mean it really is. I mean it's like you can't really do what you're doing anymore because it really kind of doesn't work. And it's like, well, I'm gonna try this, and then I feel so bad because it's like the time at FIB almost like killed her chances of becoming a cop, because I'm not gonna say what she did was wrong, but a lot of times we got bad directions from like bench guy and stuff. Like he told us, people come down there, you shoot.
So you're just following orders, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I can't. She shot Ling Buddha like twice on 2 different occasions. Her and I both shot Tony and Yuno. But I always was the last person to pull the trigger. Like she started opening fire. I'm like, all right, well, I mean, what am I not going to pull the trigger? You know, it's like she always was the first person to pull the trigger, and I don't think it was the wrong decision, but
executed poorly, perhaps.
It killed her. It killed her chances, I think, of getting in the PD, because Brian had a terrible opinion of her, and I literally told Brian this yesterday. I logged in, and I was just gonna like do some like basic patrol, and I got called into a meeting in the captain's office with Brian, Bass,
all of LSPD.
Yeah, all of LSP High Command, and they're like, "Tell us how you feel about LSPD." And I'm like, "Well, there's no team element. There's literally no one builds off of each other. All of High Command is unapproachable. There's a huge divide between the old and the new guard, because the old guard just thinks, we're just hiring to hire to get bodies. We're not hiring like specific people because they'd be good at the job, or we think they, eventually be a good cop. It's literally just hiring to hire. And that's all of PD right now, is literally just hiring to hire. And maybe you get a couple of good people, that like actually role play and be cops. Like Carmine. That being said, I talked to Brian. I literally told this to Brian's face in character. I said, I think you're the reason Posey didn't get hired. I had a really bad opinion of you before becoming a cop, but seeing the way you police and stuff, my opinion of you has gotten a lot better, and I actually would probably approach you first out of all of High Command. And he literally was just speechless. Because I genuinely think, I think in character and out of character, that Brian's probably the reason Posey didn't get hired. Mm-hmm. Because there was an incident where Brian Knight called Posey and I glorified mall cops when we were working at FIB. And Posey didn't like that and complained to Bench Guy, and Bench Guy went and called Brian Knight out on it, and he denied it, obviously. And then Bench Guy came back and yelled at us. And then from that point on, Brian Knight didn't really like Posey, nor did he like me, but I got in because I never stopped trying.
Which is so funny, because Brian Knight, the character, has gone through so many different arcs. He had like Brian's Knights back in 2.0. John Hyder was part of that, by the way. He had like, it was his private security firm whenever he was fired from PD temporarily. And they were like, back then, I guess he still had access to police radio, so he would use that information to send his security place, like, to protect people and stuff. It was very interesting. So he's done all the things that he was like shitting on you guys for, but that's Brian Knight, the character, right? He's got a short memory for his own flaws and a long one for others.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to the restroom while you're back. You guys keep it up.
Yeah. But I had a long journey, and we pretty much came together regarding the FIB stuff, and just kind of said, like, we're willing to go down with the ship. If FIB ends up working out or not, like I probably, if for some reason FIB like gets shot down again, which is not looking like the case, but if it did, I would probably be done with roleplay and streaming in general. I just have gotten to that point where it's like, I'm happy with what I've done. I probably maybe would not perma Booba, but I would just kind of like, stop waking up.
Understandable. I mean, especially with so much work being put in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like kind of in the stage Forcer or Kiwa was at in December. There was some real bad stuff happen, and then she just kind of like, peace. But I'm really glad she's back.
Besides, the FIB and all that, what else you got on the horizon? Like, what are you thinking would be something that you could see yourself getting into, or potentially, and this is without saying anything you've got going on right now, but like, where could you see the FIB going in like 6 months? Like, what would be your ultimate dream for either that or like the future of your characters?
6 months, I would say.
Or longer, just,
And I really never had like an expectation of this, but I would say absorbing IA, um, becoming the an actual federal bureau. I don't have any. I mean, there's no intentions of us to like uh, ever be on a scene and say this is our jurisdiction. Now we're getting reinforcement that is probably a possibility, but I have no intentions of doing that. I really don't even kind of want that to be. I want FIB to like be the people that give investigations and role play to
right.
SCU and people like that. But I don't know. I think
Well, the way I think
FIB could
about
be
that is like SCU. SCU has their shit going on where they stake stuff out, they watch stuff, and it's like, I wouldn't say, oh, this is my jurisdiction. It's okay. Well, this is our investigation, right? Like, we've
yeah.
been working on this. Same thing SCU does. They do this all the time. They'll be up in Grapeseed or something. They'll say, stay out of Grapeseed. It doesn't matter what if you see us in the hills in Grapeseed.
Yeah, I know
stay
exactly
out.
what you're talking about. I was there when you drove into the the warehouse down on the Buccaneer Dogs, I think it was, or
Yep.
the and there was
The
a
301
race.
spam. I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like fully conveyed. There
Yeah,
was,
no, I don't think it was either. But I was sitting
which
up on top of a building in Air One with copper, and there's like a bunch of people like, what are they doing?
we had a downed cop. I was responding to the 13 Bravo. I didn't realize that there was a thing going on, which is actually great because for those of you who don't know, the devs, NNS specifically, I believe, has been working very, very hard on updating the PD dispatch system. We actually have a very cool PD dispatch now. Allows us to mark ourselves like 10-7, 10-6, 10-8, but it adds a very, very cool way to show other cops what is going on other channels. And I actually saw somebody recently, for you two who might not be familiar with this, you can 911 what you're doing, make that into a call, assign yourself to it, and assign everyone else to it as well,
Wow,
and
yeah,
assign
yeah.
a channel to it. Just literally by saying like 911. Croc did it. He said 911. He said S plus pursuit, and then just created a call for it. Created a, they had them tag people up who were on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is such a good idea. Like, it helps. It stops confusion. It keeps people like in the loop. What radio channel is what? Yeah, so shout out to the devs for actually giving us some really good tools when it comes to getting our job done.
Yeah, well, if
But
when FIB happens, we'll probably be doing the same thing. Something similar, maybe.
yeah, it's nice to have that level of communication that I think was gone before. And I think with stuff like, SCU investigations or stink ops or whatever is going on, that an officer just getting on duty might not be privy to, and might, see a 13 Bravo down in a weird location and want to go and see if the guy's okay, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, because that was my whole thing. I was like, well, wish that was conveyed a little bit better, because I didn't know. sorry to interrupt your scene. But yeah, I think with FIB though, it's that kind of stuff. It's not this is my scene. It's this is our investigation, and not our as an FIB. It's our as in everybody who's been involved with it, right? Same as SCU does, right? They do the exact same stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, there was when I was in the planning stages of it, it was kind of like going a lot of different directions. And I thought, maybe we do this, maybe we do that. It started out as me trying to revive it, make it into some sort of financial investigation unit. Um, and, maybe do something like that. And it's kind of, I could still see it going that direction, but it's not really going that direction anymore. Mainly because it's more so getting established first. Get it established, be an actual department, and then we can really decide what exactly it is that we want to do. But right now it's literally just, and I made a comment. There was a there was a Reddit post, I think. It was Buddha talking about the chances of FIB working. And it was like he made 3 circles. One was FIB, one was amazing roleplay, and the giant one was like drama. And he made a little line through the giant drama circle to the, plus 1 million RP. And it's like FIB has to go through this small little line to get to this point, and it's going to be real difficult to do that. And I made a comment. I'm like, since I can tell there's probably going to be a lot of speculation and drama on this thread, I'm just going to say, what my intentions are with FIB. For starters, I want the roleplay in the building. The roleplay in the building is S+ roleplay. Like, let me tell you how enjoyable it is so much.
Hey, what do you guys get up to in there?
I mean, it's a mix, but we're just like, I'm creating reasons to like bring other people into it too. Like, I literally like destroyed a printer on Booba because it got jammed and he thought it was broken. Like, I shot it with my gun a bunch, and then I had a clerk call Digital Den and bring someone to come repair the printer. Just like little things like that. Like, or like I have a mouse sound on my Go XLR, and I started role playing like that. We had a rat infestation. Just like creating like little like role play scenes and like just building on like a real like Office Space RP. And that's first and foremost what I wanted in the like to start with. That's what I want, and then past that, there's out of the building. Out of the building, there was like a lot of different ideas that I had, and I'm kind of sticking on the idea of Men in Black X-Files type stuff. Like the Skinwalker event that I set up for HVTU, where the day before it actually happened, I started anonymously calling people with one of those like service broadcast alert, like, this is happening, go indoors, do not answer cries for help, things like that. Like,
it was you.
Yeah, it was me.
So are you saying that FIB is going to be primarily an RP heavy department?
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
I've considered, I've said this phrasing a lot. FIB, the building itself, and in general, but the building is going to be a symbol of like a light on a hill for roleplay, and anyone that sees the light is going to be welcome to join the roleplay. Like, I'm going to involve as many people as want to be involved, things like that. Obviously, there is that, and there's the expectation of, if I join the roleplay, I want to become an agent. If anyone's interested in that, I can just tell you right now, that's not a possibility at this point in time. Because it is very, very set in stone right now that it's just myself, Kiwo, and McConnell.
Which I think is a great group of people right now to be doing it.
Yeah. We can't... against my own desire, we can't hire people with the intentions of making them agents. So everyone right now that we bring on board, they're joining for the purpose of being a part of the role play.
I'm just glad it's happening.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to be on board for it. It's been a long time coming for us at the FIB.
Yeah, we at the FIB have really been struggling, behind the scenes, laying groundwork.
Well, in that case, if you're adding them two, you're adding me too. Okay.
I mean, you've done so much work for us here at the FIB 52.
I don't know if he specifically added Moosebeard, or maybe Moosebeard is delusional and just kind of hired himself. It's really hard to say because
I mean, it all started with 4 slurs, so let's just force some more. Why not? Well, right? That's speaking of 4 slur. Thomas, you want to talk about the time when we went to the top of the building and you and McConnell basically created the history of the directors of the FIB?
Oh my God! Yes, this was such a good moment. So at the top of the FIB building, there are a bunch of pictures, and they're in they're on the walls of meeting rooms and whatnot.
I've seen them, yeah.
And I think Booba was very curious, and he was asking, he's like, "What's this? What's this? What's this?" And we get to the pictures, and he asks Bench Guy, he says, "What's this?" And McConnell just goes, he's like, "Yeah, these are the former directors of the FIB." And Booba goes, "Who are they?" Right? And so we start going down the line, and to add something to the role play, I start putting their names underneath, and before Bench Guy can get to them, I'm like putting their name under. I think he did a couple, I did a couple, right? There was like Baron Don
Vartiglio.
Yeah, Baron Don Vartiglio. That's right.
So from in order, in order, it's Jordan Steele.
No,
Although this was at
that's-
the end,
yeah,
but in that we have those pictures in the hallway near the bathroom. So it goes Jordan Steele, Baron Don Vartiglio, Brian Sanchino, something Antiman, like Jim Antiman or something
it
like
was
that.
like John Antiman. It was
Then John FIB and Bench Guy Senior.
John F might be bench guy.
That's
Senior.
right.
Perfect.
I think one of the best part about that too is we listed how they died or like why they left, and Bench Guy Senior was patricide. I think I can't remember if that was me or if that was him, but somebody put patricide in there, which essentially means that your child killed you.
Yeah. All of that lore is still, I tell every single time I take someone on a tour, I literally tell them all that.
Oh my god.
I found
explosive-
one photo.
Explosive diarrhea, too many caprese salads, left to do something else for Jordan Steele, basically insinuating that he got fired.
Yeah.
Retired in the Vinewood Hills, served from 28 to 56. Patricide, decapitated by a cartel, literally everything.
Oh my god, that's so good. So the for me the best part was that it was just all off the it was just completely off the fly. Like none of us expected that, and we just kind of made it up as we were going, which was amazing. We get to the end, and the picture is literally it's of the Jordan Steele like player
Character
model, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to the end, and Bench Guy goes, this guy, and I was like, yeah, I've met this guy before, and I think Booba goes, you have? And then that's when I put up a little tag underneath, like a little thing saying that it's Jordan Steele, and Bench Guy just goes quiet. He's like, yeah, this is Jordan Steele.
Are we gonna get a return of Jordan Steele at FIB?
Well, Penta saw it, and I think Penta added that to his roleplay as well. Like, kind of, he's made a couple like small little nods at him potentially working for the FIB at one point.
It's funny.
Yeah, Booba ran into him, and has that prior knowledge that Jordan Steele was an FIB director, and is basically like, hey, I'd like to have a drink with you sometime. And then that happened, and then he represented someone in the cells right after that against Booba and Peach, and Jordan absolutely decimated Booba and Peach, and Booba went out and went to went behind the tavern or the liquid library and was just drinking in the alleyway, like his life just ended, like he lost his job, and I'm just like walking around drunk.
Yeah, that was, there are occasional times where something like that, you kind of just say it as like man, that'd be pretty funny. Like, let's say that as like a joke, but then it just gets picked up and held onto as like a part of the Force lore, right? And I'm sure we've all had this with events that have happened to our characters, right? Where, something small happens, and then you just glue to it. You're like, yeah,
You make it a lot bigger, and
that's part of the character now. Yeah, just store it.
Yeah,
Keep
somebody,
that,
a
and
doctor randomly mentioned, John Hydra went in for like a checkup for some dumb shit, and a doctor was like, oh, we should probably do a paternity test. And John Hydra was like, why? He's like, well, it's important to know where your roots are in case you have any like cancer history or something. And he's like, OCL, who do you want your parents to be? And I was like, OCL, you decide. And he goes, well, I only have one match for someone in the city. And I was like, who is it? And he was like, do you know anybody named Cornwood? And I was like, I know Cornwood. Oh, that was fun.
Cletus, my daddy. That would be good to like, have Espen come back, and then John meets him and says, took a paternity test. Turns out you're my daddy.
Yeah.
You're my daddy.
You're my daddy, feller.
And he's like, his age
man.
is, I think, like 47 or something. So it works out because John's like 20 something.
It's funny to me to think that like some of the most memorable cops were ones who got added in, and then I guess not all of them, but guys like Espen, they get added in, they get put on the force. They mechanically really don't do what a lot of PD does. but they just somehow make it so fun and so interesting and like
They're role playing.
yeah, that's it. That's like
Lenny Hawk.
Espen, he moved up so quick. He was a captain in like he was a captain way too quick, to be honest. But it was like he had no idea about SOPs. I don't think he wrote more than like 2 reports in his entire career.
One of his reports was literally like killed the bad guy.
Yeah. Or I don't know if you guys remember the clip of River stabbing Wrangler outside Burger Shot, and then Espen punches River, and then at the same time manages to accidentally like hit his up arrow and go for the cuffs on her. So he punches her, and then she kind of like swings to the side, and he grabs her and puts her in cuffs. All like
Sick. Couldn't have done it if he tried.
He like fumbled everything. He's just like mashing his keyboard, right? But it looked so good in character, and it was so funny.
I'm gonna find that clip.
Of course, regular fucking Penta lost it. You know, he was laughing his ass off. It just like this fumble of a move that ended up looking so cool. It looked like karate no jutsu as he throws her into cuffs after hitting her with the right hook. You know what I haven't seen in a while is River. I missed her. Good RP cram, you know.
Yeah, Chiva's doing wild RP.
Is slinging weed all the time, just like she cared about the consequences, but she wasn't afraid of, you know, doing them. You know, she wasn't like super afraid of what would come from it. She was always just like good to go with any situation.
Yeah, as crazy as
very important.
I played with her a lot on Stanky Leg. As crazy as I played Stanky Leg, I out of character limited him a lot because I was really scared of consequences.
Yeah.
And I also played him as like scared. He didn't want to get caught. He wanted to like be like a criminal mastermind, right? Even though he's just like a nerd kid from like the nice neighborhood out of town. He came to the city to be a gangster, but then both in and out of character, I was so scared of consequences that it was like I limited his RP in a lot of ways. So
it's funny too, because a lot of my complaints about like the current state of criminals lately have been because it almost feels like they don't have any belief that there is consequences. But there's also the complete opposite spectrum. There's also the, you know, we almost fear consequences too much. And both of those, in my opinion, limit roleplay.
Yeah, because I'll not go do something fun and exciting. Like the blocks will be going to do something super dumb, and Hyena Block, Stanky Leg will be like, I'll cover you from the roof because I don't want to get arrested. Like,
yeah, I actually, it's funny that something like that happened recently more that I was like willing to take a risk on Booba. I just mentioned something to Mike Block in passing on Booba. I said, yeah, I'm trying to, he's like, you need someone killed? $50? And I said, no, but I need some information on the Saints, which is a gang. And he's like, I bet. I gave him $50. He went and kidnapped one of the Saints members, brought them down to like a warehouse and had them at gunpoint and called Booba and told him to come down. And he's like, and then he brought me down there and basically had him at gunpoint and said, all right, where are you guys looking at moving? And then basically like I brought cops there too because like I knew that, you know, he had someone kidnapped, and that I probably could have not done that and gotten away with it, but I did that just in case there's like, you know, like something happened. Maybe the Saints went to the cops and were like, hey, this guy just kidnapped me on behalf of this cop. Obviously like I didn't tell Mike Block to kidnap him. I just asked him to get some information. And I came dressed up as FIB and like acted like it was an FIB thing, and literally like I like helped them because he like jumped in the water after like Mike Block said, all right, you're good. And then like a bunch of cops rolled in and like they got away, but I was just acting like I knew nothing about it, like to all the cops and to the guy that got jumped or got put in the water. And then like right after everyone leaves, I call Mike Block and I say, well done, we'll be in touch.
It's I feel like that's a perfect situation to play both sides, right?
Yeah.
Where you work with Mike Vlog, you know, you're kind of doing your thing, but then at the same time you're covering your ass because you get the PD ready. You're like, all right guys, I got an operation. I need like 3 people or 2 or 3 people who are willing to help with something. You know, Mike Block's got a hostage right now. I'm gonna go in by myself, I'm gonna try to negotiate for the hostage. Meanwhile, you're inside. You're like, well done, Mike. All right, Saints guy, give me the info. Right, like you're playing both sides of the coin. I feel like that's
it was a good time. And then
tasty.
literally like seconds after that, I called the mayor because this was back before the mayor and the FIB were on, well, when we were on good terms. Now that Cerberus is pissed off, now we're not so much on good terms with the mayor. But basically I called him and said, yeah, I think I got a candidate for the NVL squad. Because like the FIB is supposed to be like basically the handlers of the NVL squad. And he's like, you know what, I know who you're about to say. We'll say it on 3. And then he counts to 3 and we both say Mike Block. And then he orchestrates like this cool thing on top of the construction site apart from the apartments. Mike Block comes up. He's got a briefcase. We're all like standing up there. And he's like, Mike Block, we have an offer for you. And he's like, join the NVL squad, blah, blah, blah. And you'll get $50.
I remember the clip.
He's
It was
got a
like
briefcase.
he was like, "We've given so and so $2.5 million. We gave someone a Russian jet with Hydra missiles. We gave so and so this. We've given this guy citizenship and free money. We'll give you $50." He's like, "Woo!"
I bet.
Yeah. And then he gave him a parachute. They jumped off the roof, and he thought it was just like a bag or something, and he didn't know what to do. So he actually role played like Mike didn't know what was going on, so he just hit the pavement.
You know what's playing both sides of the coin is something that I think a good mayor knows how to do, and I think we've had some really good mayors. I think Mickey is maybe one of the best, where he's got the face side of his coin, where he shows it on the outside, right? Where he's for the people, he's for the PD, he's, you know, making things better for the city. But then on the other side, right, like I don't think you can wipe his history of being CB.
Meanwhile,
right,
he's assisting in bank robberies while being the mayor.
Yeah, and he's, you know, just he's doing it, but not in like the way that like Denzel did it, right? Where, you know, he's having clean mansion meetings with young Dab, right? Like he's, you know, orchestrating actual, like literal actual terrorism, not just like going to the oil rig and shooting a gun. Like this is actual, like, let's destabilize the economy kind of terrorism, right? Meanwhile, you've got guys like Mickey who they're playing both sides like just so well, and in such like a wholesome, like not overly strong kind of way, right? Mickey's funny too. I don't know if you've ever watched his stream, but he'll literally walk around with $200,000 in his pocket, you know, because out of like all of the mayors, there have only been a few that people are actually legit afraid to kidnap or mess with, and Mickey is one of them. And so he just walks around with $200,000 as like a bounty, as like if you're ballsy enough, you want to rob the mayor, you might end up with a little bit of pocket cash.
But I might have a new goal with Stanky Leg.
Yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't.
I'm metagaming.
Oh, speaking of metagaming in the FIB, I finally get to bring this up. Fiend. So in character a little while ago, it was actually right around the time Moosebeard got released temporarily from the PD. You kind of like, you know, got me in on some open investigations and whatnot. It was good stuff. It was good fun. But I was reading through your little sheet that you gave me and happened to notice that one of them was searching for a briefcase of what is it? Chemicals? No, it's
plutonium or uranium.
Is it uranium?
I think it's probably uranium. Uranium rods.
Is it rods?
I think so.
Okay, because Tim Littleman entered into somebody's car a while back, and in the glove box, for whatever reason, they had a briefcase of viral contagions. And it's like 6 glowing green tubes of what appears to be extremely volatile, you know, viral contagions. And I thought it was funny. I was like, man, this is cool. I've never seen this before. I'm going to keep this. So I like, threw it in my apartment next to Sis and Shelly's baby, which I keep in a Matrix pod. I put it in there. And then recently we got raided. And I thought 100% like that is the briefcase that Booba is looking for. Like this is, the FIB knows about this. This is the one briefcase. And it's funny too, because you brought it up to Moosebeard and I'm losing it in character or out of character. I'm like, holy fuck, like this, I'm pretty sure this is the exact briefcase he's looking for. Might not be, I don't know, but got raided. Hayes completely just glanced over it. She saw all of the guns and the handcuffs and everything else, and just for whatever reason didn't take the briefcase of viral contagion. So I still have it.
That's so funny. So now you can
So I sent a
metagame and
picture
raid
to-
them.
I sent a picture to Booba or to Fiendota recently, and I said,
Yeah.
this is meta, but I still have the briefcase. I was waiting to tell you about it for when we got raided, and then you'd find it. But now you can't come searching for it because I'm metagaming.
I'm gonna metagame. We've got cameras all over the city. Literally, I love McConnell. He'll literally just be like, he'll sit in front of his CCTV room at the FIB building, and he'll just totally imply metagaming when he shows it to people. He'll be like, yep, these are cameras all over the city. I see everything that goes on.
I wonder if he actually does have like PD cameras that he puts up places. How long do those things
He
last?
SCU has that.
They last
Tsunami.
they last a full tsunami, yeah.
Nice. They should last.
He could
forever.
probably get away with metagaming.
Oh yeah.
He could RP his way.
If anybody
out.
could, it could be McConnell. You could just tell Coyle.
Hey, if he metagames, and I mean, like I don't think I've caught him actually doing it, but if he metagamed, I literally just roll. I mean, I roll with it. It's RP.
Yeah, I would genuinely treat it as like this guy's like in the FIB. Of course, he has info on people. Unlike
Yeah.
what was it, Doug Buck with the
The CIA.
CIA.
Yeah.
Somebody said he might come back. I don't remember who it was. Somebody said Doug Buck might come back.
You know what, Fiend? Actually, I should get in touch with you out of character sometime because I've had this idea floating around of an FIB event. It was mostly to include McConnell in something and just kind of like get him. It was very similar to like your Skinwalker thing, but I had a whole other story around like an event that happened a while back that I wanted to kind of bring forth where we get like it was going to be like Stubble, a character that I was going to create like a temporary FIB character, you know, from
Hey,
like way up. And
yeah,
then we're
so
gonna
to speak
ahead.
on that really fast, we're cool with that. Like you can create a character to roleplay as an agent. Just remember, you're not going to be, you know, a cop and
Right.
stuff like that.
No,
Because like
no,
we
no,
have
that's-
Banana Duck who plays Desposable, and he it's great because he roleplays an agent who was basically trained wrong. So like he's like real stupid. He's like, Special Agent Desposable. It just like it's great, and that I'm more than happy if anyone wants to do stuff like that. Just remember,
Yeah, it would be
remember
like a
what you're
one-time
doing, and
thing.
remember that cops will get pissed off and things like that.
Dude, every time I hear a silly name, dude, my Madge counter goes up one.
Did you guys see our newest the newest LSPD
Dude,
hire?
I'm so
Cocaine?
mad.
You
Who
guys haven't
plays
met
that?
Co-Space Kane?
Who plays cocaine? You told me about it, but I tried.
Gotta be a
looking
big
for him.
streamer.
I have no idea. Like that, we've had some silly ones. All right, I'll admit there have been some real goofballs.
Like
but-
Robin Banks, like okay, like it's fine.
Well,
I
it's
guess.
Rob, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's and
Rob
that's
Banks.
Vader. So again,
It's Vader, so he
like,
can do what he wants, but yeah.
yeah.
And even that
But
name is like it's like a little
cocaine?
silly, but like it's a real name.
Yeah.
Cocaine. I couldn't believe it
Cocaine.
when I saw it on.
Not
I
only
was
are they
like-
okay to roleplay on the server, but they're a fucking cop. Okay, dude.
Bring back
Cocaine or
John Gang
Joe
member.
Kane?
Joe
No,
Kane
Co-
is his,
K-O-H.
his
Joe
character.
Kane was a seer character.
K-O-H
Seer, not Seer,
space
sorry,
K-A-N-E, cocaine. I have no idea who plays him, but apparently that's just fine.
How do you spell the first name?
K-O-H.
K-A-I-N-E or C-A-I-N-E?
No, K-A-N-E.
Oh, I met this guy. Yeah.
Let's see.
Ah,
Cocaine
okay.
is a character roleplayed by Sparky
Sparky.
K&E.
Nope.
Sparky
Can't-
play.
He's a man.
Oh, Sparky
Mandem.
Kane. Yeah.
He's a Mandem guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the Mandem, that's right. We've had a few Mandem guys come in, like Damn Labunda. Remember Damn Labunda?
Fucking Adam.
A few guys come over with goofy names like that.
All right, I got one for you guys.
Okay.
What
What's up?
is your favorite kind of RP moment? The kind of moment that like you talk to people who aren't on the server, like you'll talk to your girlfriends or your friends about the things that, like like you think about later that day and you're like, fuck, that was so good, or the things that stick with you? What are like those moments? Because there's always like those moments. Everybody has a moment that like sticks with them. What are your moments?
You mean like on like a daily basis, or just like you remember it like often?
It can be
really
either or, but
fondly?
in general, I mean like an event that like when it happens, you're like, oh, this is why I role play. Like this is why I'm on this server. For me, one of the ones is like when there's an in character, like a purely in character build up, and then you get to a climax, and then like the consequence of either like getting like it working or it not working. When that like when it all sort of happens without a hitch, even if you don't like succeed, right? Even if you take an L, the build up, man, when I feel a build up moment, it's so good. I think that's one of the few things I'm missing on COP is there's not a lot of build up moments. So
It's really fast paced.
It's very fast paced, and you don't get a lot of. You have to sort of not force, but you have to like really lean into remembering to like find moments outside of like ping chasing, right?
I've had that recently off duty with thanks to Moses, like a lot of build up with him. I never saw myself having fun off duty, but I mean, with the right people around you, right circumstances, right timing, it can be fun.
Dude, I went off duty with fucking Leo, one of the Cubano Federales. Dude, we spun the wheel. We probably spent 100K on the wheel. And this dude hit 20K, 50K. Dude, he got so much money, and I was just like priming the wheel for him.
Love the Cubans.
Boom, boom, boom.
My favorite kind of role play, and I think this goes beyond just role play. It's when you have like a certain connection with whoever you're playing with, and it's because, you know, a lot of the people we play with, we don't really live near. Like, for instance, Miles is from Wales, right? And I'm from Canada, so we got literally the entire world. Yeah, he lives right on the back of one.
Huh?
Miles is miles away.
Yeah, he's miles away from me. Someone say he's not kilometers close to me at all. He and I have like these moments where we just like share a brain. We'll say like the exact same thing at the same time, and it happens so like eerily frequently, like so much so that I've had people recently who I'll be on Moosebeard, he'll be on Stubble, and we'll be literally across the world, and somebody will go, "You and Miles just both brought up the exact same thing at the same time," like for no reason whatsoever. Like I think I can't remember what it was. We were talking about in Disneyland or something like that. And somebody literally came into my chat and was like, that was really freaky because you and Miles literally started talking about the same thing. And it's just like, it's moments like that. Like we're on the Littlemans, we'll go like, you know, we'll make a joke and then we'll just respond to something or somebody says completely without like no prior knowledge, anything like that. We'll just respond in the exact same way, literally say the exact same thing. And to me, it just flows. It's like so natural the way that it happens, and just that to me is like that's the best. It's also my second favorite would definitely have to be expectation subversion. It's when, you know, somebody expects something to go one way and then you or another role player just completely take it a different way. Like you just for instance, Littleman's very, very well known for kidnapping, like everybody. But occasionally we'll pick somebody up, like a cop, and we'll give them a ride, like an actual like taxi ride, and we'll just drop them off and be like, all right, have a nice day. And you know, they're kind of, for a minute, they're like, wait, that's it? Like I'm not kidnapped? It's like, nope, all right, have a nice day, right? And they're kind of like, oh. All right, you know, like they're almost prepared for it at this point. I love subverting expectations that way.
Creme Littleman still has a weapons license, by the way.
Yes.
Despite literally shooting like 3 cops the last time.
You shot cops?
Yeah. Had to shoot a couple toes off. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, if you're shooting toes off, that's fine. You know, Miles has shot a lot of toes off.
Is
Well,
that
he's
is that a
handcuffed, too,
Littleman
'cause
thing?
he's
I
a
just thought it
power
would be
gamer.
funny. It was actually not even cops. It was DOC. So who even cares?
Oh yeah, you're fine then. DLC.
It was for my deal of 15 slushies and the ability for the Littlemans to bring, what's it called? Money for the prisoners. What's that called?
Contraband.
Nope. Like
Conquistador.
legal money that they can put in there. I don't remember. But anyway, Littlemans can do that officially.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm just doing my part.
We had such a good
It's
time
because
on Littlemans
I had
the other
to
day.
relog and you guys immediately logged off, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna keep RPing with the prisoners."
Oh yeah, that's usually what happens. Is, like by the time we're just so cooked from like doing role play, it's so hard to.
Yeah, I mean, fuck the lifers. I mean, they don't deserve your roleplay even though you're tired. Did I get it? They're
Listen,
not worth it.
We
It's
come
fine.
in and we spend like an hour hanging around most days. All right? Don't hit me with that.
It's true. It's true.
Krem spent like 2 hours navigating the prison. He like snuck up the back of the prison, was hiding around the box area, getting to places, throwing shoes. It was awesome.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
We
I hate prison lifers. I just go there to shoot them. That's my highlight.
Gotta get the pogs.
Yeah,
Get those pogs up.
I hope Mr. Time hears this.
All right, Fiend.
So, hold on. Jim and Tim don't do it, but Win Littleman, played by One Small Bumble, collected her paycheck recently. $500,000.
How does this happen? How does this fucking
don't
happen?
know.
I get so mad every time I hear about it.
Gord collected his and got 5K, and he's got a 6,000 state ID. And I was like, oh, I was mad about that. I was like, I expected like 100K. I was like, you know what? I'll have some starting money. It'll be nice. But anyway, she collected 500,000, and so because we knew we were gonna be on the run for warrants, we rented 6 S+ vehicles from H&O. We bought 30 guns from Pigeon. 150K in guns. Literally paid him up front because he was like, ah man, I don't really trust this. And I was like, I'll give you the money up front. I don't care. You were good for it. He's like, okay, sure. Like, so we gave him 150K, bought 5 Scorpions, 5
That's insane.
5 what is the heavy pistol? The
Desert Eagle.
Deagle,
Wide
Desert
body.
Eagle.
The wide body, that's it. Yeah, we bought 5 or 15 wide bodies, 15 Scorpions, split them up between the 6 of us. It was
Oh, is that
great.
why you got raided?
No, we got raided because we asked to be raided, because it had been 2 months since we stored a bunch of. We went into the trash locker when we had PD access, and we took out like old broken like scars and M4s and stuff like that, and we kept them and we put them in our. We'd actually planned to get weapons and drug trafficking since the very beginning of us being hired there. So we just used our access to like take out all these broken weapons and stuff. Nothing that we could use, and nothing that was like part of a
Investigation.
Investigation.
yeah, or just like an evidence lock or anything like that. And we just took it back to our apartment and kept it all there. So we had more than enough. We also had a note, and the note was like Monday through Friday, and it dictated like the days or where we were gonna be to like sell guns. It was like sell guns to guy from Vagos or whatever, and then the day 2 sell drugs to Rust. Like it was just like a dossier listing that. And so finally we were just tired because nobody was gonna raid us. Nobody takes us seriously when it comes to actual like criminal stuff. So I think Jim had a taser on him, and Hayes jokingly goes, "Can we raid you guys?" And we're like, yes, let's handcuff us right now. Let's go. We consent to everything. Don't even get the warrant. Like we're going for the raid. Let's do this. So she goes into our apartments and finds it all, and like it was wholesome. I reached out to Zakel afterwards. I'm like, hey, sorry if we caused you a headache. She's like, no, that was fun. Like she's like, I didn't expect half of that. I thought you guys you were joking to like, waste time. And we're like, nope. No, we had all those guns.
Did you give the rental cars out to random people?
No, we lost them
yes.
all. We used them to interfere with each other.
Because
Maniacs.
I ran into you and you had 2 rental cars, and there's a guy you were racing with. He was in a
Oh no,
Skyliner.
that was the time before. That was like the 4th time we'd ever rented H&O rental cars.
there's a charge, a rental charge that's like one's
Misuse
10K.
of a high performance vehicle.
100K.
Yeah, a guy almost got fucked for that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how when I went to prison last, I had 3.7 million in debt because of the multiple 100,000 charges that I've got for. But also we had warrants out for 2.5 million, so we're sitting at about 6.3 million in debt.
Do you think
right
you'll get
now,
to 50?
Roland.
Can you get to 50 million? That's the real
50
question.
million? I don't know. We have now, with that, I think we are maybe close to double the highest amount of debt. I think Croc in character mentioned that the Erwin Dundee had about 3.4 when I was at 3.5. Because he's like, can I check your bank account? I was like, yes. And he goes, how do you have more debt than Erwin Dundee? And I scream in character. I was like, yes, I knew it. Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I was pretty pleased about that. Then I heard Chatterbox might have a lot because he got like millions of dollars in
terrorist funds.
Contempt.
Oh, contempt. Yeah, that's right.
It was contempt. But I think I heard him on stream recently say it was only about 3 million.
You need to get bench trials more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
bench
don't.
trials get contempt.
Ooh,
We don't contest a lot of stuff unless it's like fun, like really weird
Well,
stuff.
if you want to get more debt, the way to do it.
All right, Fiend.
At this point, I'm gonna request like 50 million. We want a $50 million fine.
Fiend, can you give us
0 years
can
in
you give us
jail.
any sneak peek? Can you give us any upcoming? Can you give us anything cool from the FIB? Can you give us a leak? Can you leak something FIB? Something cool?
We're really pushing for more of this. man.
I'm so curious, man. Give us something.
I already tried. I tried. He's
I
not
can't
willing to
really
budge.
give you anything tangible.
All right, give us something.
Not
Give
at
us a
this
maybe.
time.
Give us a hard maybe.
What do you mean by a maybe? Maybe what?
Like something maybe they want that they're not sure that they can get.
Lollipops. Dude, I tried. There's no way he's gonna give up any information.
Rico.
There's no way.
Ooh, okay.
What's this? What are we looking at?
Bringing back
What is it?
Rico
That's
charges.
the only thing I'm gonna say.
Woo!
What
Criminals
what we see?
do be scared. You heard it
What
here
is it?
first, folks. You don't know about Rico charges?
What is Rico?
Rico is a racketeering like blanket charge for like charging entire gangs with like really big like holdings. So for example, if the leader of the Ballas fucked up and like did some gang shit, they can get a Rico charge, which would not only affect them but the entire gang.
So,
That's
and more along the lines of what I wanted to eventually become is major asset forfeiture, like business asset forfeiture, where like someone like Lang Buddha commits terrorism, blows up a government building. Well, guess what? Bye bye Rooster's Rest. And that's just I don't ever have the expectation of that actually happening, but
Right. I think that would be really interesting.
So let's see. So officially, like out of character, a Rico charge is Rico involves 35 crimes, including murder, kidnapping, slavery, human smuggling, and money-related crimes such as embezzlement, money laundering, and bribery. Those charges under the RICO Act can face a maximum penalty of 20 years imprisonment and a fine of $250,000. Obviously, they would model it more for in-character punishment, but basically, when gangs do a lot of shit, it can go from a regular crime to a RICO charge.
Yep.
Whoa.
Racketeering, influence,
Basically,
and corrupt organization is what it stands for.
Yeah.
He's back.
Basically,
Oh, what a nice, what a nice
basically it
view.
becomes hardcore mode for criminals.
Yeah. Because like your charges, what cops will do is they will not charge you for things in like the statute of limitations and like basically give you enough rope to hang yourself with. That would be
Kinda
very
like
sick.
just
I'd be
letting,
so sick to see.
Yeah, it'd be like we end up. Let's say we take someone down to the FIB building, we interrogate him for like an hour or something, make him sweat real hard, and then we just let him go. And they're
Woof.
like, huh?
Woof. That'd be so,
What?
they're like, wait, whoa, what? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
And
be
then it's
so
like
sick.
that with like multiple people in the same organization, and then, you know, it's about building like a a dossier about the different
I love it.
ongoings of gangs and things like that.
And it causes like internal strife because now the gang's like, why'd they let you go? They caught you with 3 AKs on you. Like, why did they let you go? What did you tell them? They're like, I didn't tell them nothing.
Yeah.
What do you mean you didn't tell them nothing? Yeah, that's gonna be some good RP, man. Hopefully that comes through.
Yeah.
All right, Fiend, it's getting about that time. We've been going for a little while now. Dude, thanks so much for coming on. This was really sick.
Yeah,
I feel like it was just nonstop. Definitely got to get you back on, talk some more about stuff, see where the FIB is the next time we get you on.
Who knows? Possibilities are endless. That's what I've been saying about.
We have a little
tradition about FIB.
I know it's gonna be in a couple months' time. Moosepit's gonna take it over.
Ooh,
Agent 000. Been saying it for a while.
000. Perfect. Is that 4 zeros?
Yep.
We have a little tradition here at the Yespixel podcast, where at the end, each of the hosts asks the guest to emulate an emote from in the server to the best of their ability.
All right.
So, I would like for you to please emulate the squat emote.
Can I even do that properly?
You could do your best. Oh, that's good. Yeah, look at that. That's
Nice
good.
squat, good
That's
glutes.
great. Fuck yeah.
All
For
right, what you
me,
got?
I want you to emulate whatever emote it was you used most as Booba before he could talk.
Oh, I know which one
He's
it's gonna
already
be.
done it this stream.
It's either hug, the wide hug
Mhm.
from the side a little bit, or the point at me.
There we go.
Booba.
Booba. Booba. All right.
Yeah, it was one of those two. I think I probably used hug a little bit more though. Actually, there's a stat tracker on hugs on my channel.
That's great.
It's like at 800 or something.
Hell yeah. That's a lot of hugs.
Yeah. And that's not even counting like the first week.
What you got,
I don't
Troms?
know. See, the one I've always asked everybody to do. My personal favorite emote in the server. Down.
Oh, you mean
/E
the point down meta?
Yeah. It just drives a
So
point home.
it's a little different for like the person because it looks different, but it's like
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
I don't know, it just drives a point home and I love that.
Yeah. Now, do it.
Jeez.
All right, man.
There's so many good emotes.
There's a bunch of good ones.
there are.
Like leg injury.
Hey, I'm gonna say it. I brought in stand guard. That's mine. I created that guard. Everyone does that now. Every single person does that.
Wait, what is it? I don't know this
Literally,
emote. What is it?
So it's like.
Is it
I
like
forget
cop?
what it's like. No, it's like I think it's weight 12. It's like where you put your hands in front of you and you're like grabbing one hand with the other.
Oh, yeah,
one like
okay.
this.
And you're pulling your sleeves. I've seen Bash
Yeah,
do
and
that
then-
shit a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, now everyone does that emote since I told freaking Miles what it was called.
I'm gonna
Literally
do it too
everyone's
now.
doing it now.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Are you happy with
Just
down
good.
Troms? Or are you gonna give him a new one?
No, I can't think of any others.
Okay.
I'm not creative when it comes to emotes.
All right, Fiend. Dude, thanks so much. Appreciate you. Anywhere
course.
you want to shout out? Obviously, your Twitch channel. Do you got a YouTube, Twitter? Where do you want people to check you out? Patreon, OnlyFans. What do you got?
No, just Twitch. Twitch and I guess Twitter, but it's all Fiendota, so.
Fiendota. You heard it here first, folks. Thanks again to what was it, Captain Save a Ho, for protecting Booba and also Gingers.
Captain Save.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate you. Thanks again, Fiend. Really appreciate you. Yespixel episode 8.